in chat the other day says like, man, I'm so glad Brad never sold out like those other punk asses or some shit. And I was like, wait, no, tell me how to sell out. I just don't know how.
He just missed it.
I need to know.
This is a serious question. I'm asking for a friend. How do you sell out?
Yeah, please. A friend of mine wants to know how to sell out.
Oh, man. I'm glad we got that recorded, so I'm going to go ahead and use that in the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to 4Player Podcast, episode 431.
Yeah, wow.
What? Why'd you say wow?
Nothing.
What?
I will say, it took like PewDiePie way too long to get a green screen. I mean, the man...
Brad, it took us way too long to get a green
No, it took him way too long. This man should have had a green screen a long fucking time ago. He could afford a green screen.
Brad, we could afford a green screen for a long time.
No, okay.
Anyways, welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Nick Henderson. I'm back. Thank you, Nolan, last
He
week
could
for
afford a
hosting.
house that's just green, okay? He should have had one.
A house?
A greenhouse?
Anyways, Brad, I'm gonna try one last time to finish introducing this show.
Oh, hey, guys. What's up? What's up, Nick?
Brad Simons is here.
Yeah. On this grand horror week.
Crispy.
Hey, what's up?
Hello, Crispy.
Hey.
And filling in for Nolan this week because we had to lay him off after his terrible hosting duty last week. Jack, our good friend Jack, is joining us.
You alright?
Where'd all the enthusiasm go, Jack? Where'd the liveliness go? A minute ago, before the show started, you were flicking things with your tongue, and now
That's for the pre-show, you know.
Get this man a Jaffa cake.
Hey, how's everyone doing? How's everyone
this
doing?
man a Jaffa cake. I still have no idea.
Give
what
me
a
a fucking They're fucking good, dude.
I
They're
still-
like $5 at HEB
but
for like a pack of like maybe 15, 20. Like the medium-sized pack.
I still have no idea what a Jaffa cake is, but I do know you have to flick the tip with your tongue
to
in
get
order
the best experience.
to get the best stuff out of it, or something.
That's
Right.
just
You gotta make love to it.
That's
You do.
the traditionalist style.
You gotta lick the orange tanginess.
All right, guys,
I want to get you a Jaffa cake.
we have a lot of cool stuff to talk about today. Brad's gonna fill us in on Fatal Frame 5. Which
I've played a lot of Fatal Frame 5.
Hey, I'm not prompting you to talk about it just yet.
I know.
Cool your jets.
But I'm
gonna play a little. I'm gonna catch up with you guys a little bit
Okay.
before we talk about Assassin's Creed.
Let's catch up. That Star
And
Wars
Fatal
trailer,
Frame.
we still talking about that?
Yeah.
That Star
I
Wars
haven't had a
trailer?
chance.
Dude,
Oh, because
yes.
you weren't here last week.
No. Oh, y'all talk about it last week?
I'm at the point where I'm listening to it in my car.
You're listening to it?
Crispy,
Dude, the
up top.
music is awesome.
Did you burn it onto a CD?
Yeah.
Dude,
I've watched it like 15 to 20 times.
last week
So
I
good.
bought tickets for episode 7 on a whim for day 2. As in like the Saturday.
I
At
Dude,
4 in the morning?
No,
Or
no,
5 a.m.?
like the day that they had that. I mean, bear in mind again, like I've never watched a Star Wars movie ever, right? So me and my
But you're
girlfriend.
watching them now, right?
Well, I'm gonna be, yeah. I've got them all downloaded.
whoa,
Wait.
whoa.
No,
That's the
listen,
whole
listen.
thing.
I'm gonna watch only the original trilogy.
Okay, good.
Like, is that acceptable?
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
need to watch
That's
the
fine.
previous.
I finally got my
I
hand to watch
actually,
Return.
I heard a viewing order the other day that kind of made a bit of sense to me. It does integrate 2 of the 3 prequel movies, but
Nope.
it seems like the most logical way to do it.
Didn't they like make a fan edit of like older?
Topher Grace did a fan edit of the
Original.
of the prequel.
It's actually Hayden
True.
Christensen.
No, that'd be great though. Of the prequel trilogy, and he cut it down into like one big movie. And supposedly it's pretty good. I mean, it's still shit material.
I know,
but
like
it's-
because the day that they were gonna have that new trailer during that football game, me and my girlfriend are chatting on Facebook, and after that trailer had aired, apparently like Alamo Drafthouse and all these other cinemas, Fandango was starting to make the tickets go live, which was then crashing all the sites and this and that.
Yeah, I had to get tickets for Saturday.
Yeah. So we're just like on a whim. We're just like, fuck it, let's see what the big buzz is, you know. So we went on Alamo Drafthouse, and the site's going down, then it's going up, then it's going down, then we're hitting F5 and going crazy. And then I just happened to be thinking like, let's just go to IMAX and see it. I mean, why not, right? I mean, it's a big, good-looking movie. So I went to the Bob Bullock Museum site.
Yeah.
There's like not a soul on there, dude. I was like,
Yeah.
where is everyone? I just bought the tickets.
Because no one probably
I've
thought
heard
of
a
that.
few people say that.
But
where,
like,
they
it was
couldn't
funny.
get tickets, but they got
Fandango,
the IMAX.
Fandango was down. The Regal Cinema IMAX, not far from us, that was down. Obviously, Alamo Drafthouse was down. I went to the Bob Bullock, and it was like, okay.
I'll be seeing
went
it
through
right up
straight
the road
away.
here.
You know, the large screen at Evo is good. to watch movies.
I don't know what Evo. I don't know where Evo is, but I know Bob Bullock's a bigger screen than the Regal IMAX.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't even want to get the tickets originally. I wanted to originally buy the Bond Spectre tickets, but I couldn't because the site were all down.
I've been hearing some bad things about that. What's up?
But Spectre?
I'm not hearing bad things. I'm hearing that it's not.
Good.
No, the thing is, no. I mean, it's like, would you describe Quantum of Solace as a bad movie or
Dude,
just a?
don't put it on the
Yeah.
same level. I'm not even saying, but I'm going to defend it. It's not going to be Quantum of Solace. I'm so fucking excited for that movie.
No,
dude.
I'm fucking excited
It's like
for
my
it too.
most hyped
Quantum of
movie of the
Solace
year.
wasn't good.
No, Quantum of Solace just wasn't stand out. Like it wasn't like
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
I watched that movie and I enjoy it just fine, but it's not Skyfall. It's not Casino Royale by any stretch of the imagination.
Skyfall was the best movie I'd seen in a long time when it came out. And I'm actually seeing Spectre. Bob Bullock actually doing like a day zero showing of it on
Yeah.
the Thursday. So I'm seeing it on Thursday after I get off work, probably with like several of the guys from work. And it's going to be fucking awesome.
I'm very excited.
I cannot wait. Trying to avoid spoilers or reading much about it because it's out.
You're biased,
It's out
though.
in England. It's out in England now.
Being British and all.
Fucking excited, dude! It's like a rite of passage. It's like Nick
what
and
is-
Bourne.
So what is your thoughts on?
But I'm the same way with Bond too.
Hey, let's go back to Star Wars real quick. I finally watched Return of the Jedi with Malia, who's never seen it. It's been like pulling teeth trying to get her to watch that movie. Well, we finally watched it, and you know what? She's giving me a lot of weird looks about the Emperor. Is the Emperor lame?
He's a lot cooler in
kinda
Jedi than he is in
cornball.
Revenge
Is he
of
the
the
one
Sith.
that's like got his face covered and it's just you only see him grinning?
He's like the evil guy. He's like, yes, excellent. Let your hate flow through. Yeah, he's
I'm pretty sure.
like,
I'm pretty sure he's the source of that
he's
stereotype or that archetype.
He's so cartoonishly evil. Like,
That's awesome though, right?
Yeah, no, that's what's great about him though. He's just like a fucking dick.
Is there
Like,
anything
he's
I
just
need to know like
horrible.
before watching the original movie? Like the one I've downloaded, it was like is a Blu-ray
No,
rip of like the entire thing. So what I don't know what
I
version I'm
have the
getting.
Blu-ray trilogy. Would you like to borrow that?
You're gonna get.
Sure.
You're gonna get.
But
all
I mean,
that.
am I going to get the best version of the original? That's what I'm worried about. Because I know
Oh, you're
there's
trying to
like-
avoid the special edition stuff.
I guess.
See, you don't even know what you're looking for.
I have
Just
a
come
problem.
on,
I just want the best experience
You
to
just
watch this movie.
Just
Then
watch.
get a fucking time machine.
No, what you should, no. Just watch the latest releases. I mean, they're better than.
Excuse me.
I mean, I just don't understand. Like, they cut some shit out, right? Where they cleaned
I
some
thought they
stuff
added
up.
some like effects.
Dude,
and
they
shit,
added so many like.
No, I'm talking about the
visual
latest
effects.
version. Where
They
they
like cleaned up what they've already been cleaning up for 15 years.
yeah.
Like,
No.
they just keep adding shit.
From what I understand,
They-
the
they
original
just
cinema
know-
version was like the
Just
best.
know
one.
if you ever see Hayden Christensen in one of the original Star Wars movies, just like
a
cover
bad
your
one.
eyes. That doesn't
Just delete it.
exist. That doesn't exist. Okay?
They did retcon him into the
just
ending of
watch the
Return of
original
Jedi.
stuff. But in the latest version, the cleanups that they did, like for example, like the Rancor looks really good. You know, while it never looked good back in the day. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, they added shit like the Wampa was one that they added a lot too, because it used to just be the head and the hand, and then they added a whole sequence where it's like stalking around its cave and everything.
Yeah.
like
It looks
that.
good.
It looks cool.
Oh my God, the
but
band at
that's one of the
Jabba's
few.
palace
That's one of the
stuff?
few new effects they added.
They gave the Sarlacc a whole facelift too.
that,
Yeah.
no, that's terrible.
See, I'm gonna sound
that
like a-
still looks
it-
real bad.
and the song is.
I'm gonna
fucking
sound like a
shit.
fanboy,
Yeah.
but when I'm sure there was actually like a movie where they kind of said about how they fucked over the fans and all the rest of it, the original Star Wars. But if you're adding effects, it kind of shits over the people that worked on the original, no?
No, yeah, and like there are some scenes, especially in the first one, where like there is film behind layers and layers and layers of this new like 90s CG that's just like
Yeah.
crossing, and like you
bad.
can't even
See-
tell what the fuck is going on. It is gross.
I get that it
is
may.
gross.
I get that it may aesthetically look better, but I guess I
Most of the time
I like
most
the
of the time it
composition of
doesn't, though.
movies, so I
no,
like
just
to
watch the
appreciate it.
originals. Just watch
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm not gonna watch the originals.
Here, the important thing is that you fucking watch it because
I wanna
whether
watch this goddamn
regardless of which
movie.
version you watch, you're gonna get the same story, and that's the
Now,
important.
Return of the Jedi in hindsight seems kind of confusing. Like it's that movie's all over the place.
Dude, so this order I was talking about, it proposes that you watch episode 4, A New Hope, then episode 5, Empire, right? So far so good, all normal. And then you've gotten through Empire, you've gotten through the twist, the twist, and you know, the twist that everyone already knows.
Yeah.
And like everything's going to shit and everything, and then they end the movie on a real down note. And then you watch episode 2 and 3 as an extended flashback about Darth Vader. And then by the time you're done with those, you watch Jedi, and that kind of sets up like Luke and Vader's whole kind of dialogue at the end of Jedi. And you completely skip episode 1 because that never happened. So you still have to watch episode 2 and 3, which are both shit movies, but it's a better way to watch all of those movies to get the most content and still preserve some of the like key moments of the original trilogy, especially the Darth Vader.
Okay, let me.
Sorry, I was gonna say, all I expect out of episode 7, I expect that even if I had watched none of these movies and I just got dragged along to go see it, I think I would enjoy it. I mean, Abrams makes an entertaining movie, if nothing else. It's good popcorn flick, like like the new Star Wars. I kind of expect it to be much like that.
You mean Star Trek?
Yeah, I expect the new Star Wars to be much like the reboot of Star Trek. I mean,
Well,
ain't gonna
that's
be.
what everyone's saying, but
And see, that's fine. I mean,
No, that's more
it's
than
good
fine.
cinema. I mean, what more do you want?
It'll be good cinema. I have a very,
This
very
will
good
come.
feeling about episode 7.
So good.
Very, very
I'm
good
optimistic.
So fucking good. I hate
There's a lot of
myself for being
baggage.
as
Guys,
excited
if
as I am.
There's a lot of
if
baggage.
episode 7 is good, now even if it's not like amazing, but if it is good, if it is up there with like this is a welcome addition to the franchise, Star Wars will officially cross over the 50% mark of being into the positive realm.
Right. There are more good
More
Star
than
Wars
50% of the
than
movies
bad.
will be good.
Will this be the best-selling movie above Avatar, above Titanic? Given today's age of social media and stuff.
Record-breaking like opening
Exactly.
ticket sales.
Dude.
Like,
Sure,
yeah, it's
sure.
gonna
Dude,
be
I've never seen.
ridiculous.
I've been buying movie tickets. I've been buying movie tickets for like day one showings for a very, very long time. I have never seen a movie sell it as fast as this. Holy shit!
I know
had
it's exciting now, but they're also like annualizing 6 Star Wars movies or some shit.
sure, but at the
right?
same time,
Yeah, there are
like,
different productions.
We might
working on
get
them,
sick of
yeah.
this shit.
but
Dude, I'm not gonna get sick of it. As long as it's good, I will be happy.
dude, the idea of doing an
It might lose
anthology
its
series,
magic.
dude, the idea of doing an anthology series in the Star Wars universe is awesome.
It
There's
is.
so much
Maybe
material
it should-
outside of the Skywalker story that is just ripe for the picking, and I think
they should
Disney
have
is.
made a show. Or
But Disney does like
Well, they
Disney
have been
knows how
doing
to
shows.
handle like these kinds of like. I think it's in really good hands.
hey, we gotta shift gears.
We do, I guess.
Before we get to games, I gotta talk about what I've been watching.
Oh God, here we go.
I've been watching. I don't know what it's called. It's a show.
You don't even know what it's called.
I have no idea what it's called. But it's a show where people buy houses, but they're tiny. It's so cool. So
Where do you find these shows?
it's a show where
the houses are tiny.
The houses
like they're
are
buying
tiny.
doll houses.
they're like big doll houses
They're
that
saying
they
like
live in.
400 square foot or something.
Brad,
crazy,
tell
right?
him how
No,
big the
no,
house
no,
was.
like 100 to 200 square foot houses, like full houses
Kitchen,
with like
bathroom.
kitchens and
Like
bathrooms.
those
and
kind of
living rooms.
like weird futury houses where everything like folds.
It's just like
and shifts, and it's like, oh, your kitchen pulls out into a.
Yeah, but some of them don't even do that.
It's like a Japanese apartment is what he's watching or something.
And
It's like a
they're
live stream.
fucking tiny, and they have like lofts, but the loft is just like 4 feet high, so you gotta like crawl to
through
your
it.
mattress. Oh my god, it's great.
Is that what
Be-
it's called? Is it called Tiny on Netflix?
Tiny Homes. It's like House Hunters, Tiny Homes, or something like that. It's just a tiny house version of another show that they have.
Why would
It-
that exist, and how much material can they possibly squeeze
Dude,
out of that?
these houses are fucking cool, but it's hilarious because they're so tiny. And like in every fucking episode, it's like some realtor showing them 3 different houses, and then they have to choose, and they buy that house. And it's like, my budget's $20,000. Well, $20,000. They're little houses.
What do you expect out of
That's less than what my car costs.
They're little houses,
Holy
but like they're real house. There was one episode where a family of 4 was moving into a tiny home.
how tiny?
It was really tiny. It was like 200 square feet or something.
See, that's like a holiday home.
I think.
But here is why the
should-
show is great, because they go and they're like, wow, there's not a lot of space here, or like, man, there's no full size refrigerator. What the? No, someone didn't steal my pumpkin idea. I stole someone else's pumpkin idea.
That's gonna be really out of context. For,
He's like, where
Oh,
do you
that
think
one
I
looks
got the
better,
idea? That's hilarious.
but
is
the
hilarious.
cannibalistic pumpkin is not a new idea.
No.
All right, every single episode they're like, wait a minute, but the bathroom is so small, and the realtor just goes, But it's a tiny house. I mean, that's what you're in the market for.
This is the something.
Every episode, every single house they
the
go
realtor's
to.
just like, I know. Look how
big is that
small
market,
it is.
That market can't be big like Crispy was saying.
That market is very small.
Yeah.
Yay! We did it.
I
Can we talk about
recommend
video games.
checking out this show, but make sure you watch the right one because we found another one that's purportedly the
There's
same
more. There's
thing.
like a market for these
But
kind of
like,
Don't be fooled. Those are medium-sized houses.
exactly, they're not that tiny. They're not that tiny. We watched like several episodes of this other one that had like, they're like it's like a tall little person. You know, it's like
tall
it
little
kind of
person.
loses the effect.
Like
you
a
know,
child.
What does that mean?
Like at some point, a little person gets so tall that they're not a little person.
They're just
I mean,
a
they
small
kind of
person.
are,
They're
but
a
it's
medium
like
person.
you know, they're lame. I mean, they're like,
lame?
They're not as cool.
They're fucking
Brad, they're people.
Sometimes there's a
Oh my
Joseph
God.
joke in here somewhere.
Is there a third person with
Joseph can totally live in one of these
Joseph,
houses.
when you get Joseph, like apply him on that show.
Is there a third person in chat now with the word "cool" at the front of their name?
Dude,
I see cool.
you know
off.
what's funny? They almost always go for the biggest of the three.
Oh, so and then the realtor's like, "Oh, I thought you wanted like an actual like tiny house. I didn't realize you were just a bunch
Some
of
of these
fucking
houses-
tiny house posers."
A lot of the houses they look like have like hitches, so like you can just hook your home onto a truck
Hook
and
it
tow
onto
it
your-
around.
Yeah,
But
those
they're
are
not
called trailers.
No,
Yeah.
but they're homes. They have like porches and stuff.
It comes with a fucking mount, so you can like hook it to your
I saw a
smart
tiny
car
house
as you
with
go
a
down the road.
balcony.
What?
How does that? Wait. How high off the ground
like
is the
a
balcony?
like a
I mean,
Juliet balcony.
like 6 feet off the
you can
ground.
like stick your head out. Like,
Wow.
Holy shit!
Oh my god! Trust me, just watch the show. It's good. Just
this-
make sure you're watching the right one.
This is
Fucking
amazing.
600 square feet. Get out of here with that shit. None of those shows bullshit.
This is amazing.
300 square
$20,000.
feet or less, or get the fuck out.
yeah.
All right, can we
efficient
talk
living.
about video games now? We've gone quite a
sorry,
while.
real quick.
Oh,
did,
God
did anyone see Crimson Peak?
I
by
did.
the way?
I
You
took.
did?
I took my
How'd you
girlfriend.
think?
to
No,
see it.
shut up,
It's
guys.
kinda
You
bad.
shut up. You shut up. I haven't seen it yet.
I'm not gonna.
It's a good movie.
Well, let me spoil it for you, Crispy.
I heard it's not that great.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people are going into it thinking it's a horror
Yeah,
movie.
it's been mismarketed.
It's
crazy.
totally not a horror movie. I
So-
mean,
so
it
I-
has scary moments, but it is very much like a
thriller.
but it has like it's kind of like a romance at the same time. It's
a romantic
You
drama.
want to talk
is what
about bait and switch? You guys heard of that Bone Tomahawk?
Dude, I
movie
wanna
that's
see
out?
that.
I haven't seen it yet, but my boss came into work
I've never
today
heard of
and
it.
was like, "You have to
Yes.
go watch this movie.
I've heard
it's
really
amazing."
fun. I'm getting
Like,
Big Trouble in Little China vibes off it, right? Because
Yeah.
it's kind of like a.
what is it called?
It's
What?
Bone
That is
Tomahawk.
not the vibes
It's
I
like
get.
a
Really? I'm
It's
getting
like a
it's kind of a
Western
comedy though, right? It's
He
non-serious.
said, okay, he said it's not a comedy, but that he's laughed harder at it than
Crimson
he has
Peak?
at any
No,
comedy
no,
that came
what-
out this year.
Bone Tomahawk.
Bone
Tomahawk. Oh, I
Kurt,
thought it was like
Kurt
Crimson
Russell
Peak.
as a Wild West gunslinging sheriff who must save people from a bunch of cannibals.
Yeah, like these.
But it's like
cannibal
it's a
Indians.
non-serious kind of campy
I've never
horror
heard of,
movie.
I've never heard of
Yeah.
this movie.
No, exactly. It's been really like undermarketed, but
just-
it sounds really fucking
Yeah,
cool.
it's some indie film.
And just in time before Kurt Russell appears in The Hateful Eight, which I also
Yeah.
can't wait to
Oh
see.
god,
Oh,
that was
yeah,
a good
Bone
trailer.
Tomahawk's on VOD right now. I think you can get it on
Hateful
like
Eight.
PlayStation or
I
something.
want to watch
Really?
Hateful Eight.
Yeah,
I want to watch that then.
like $5.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that. I want to see that.
You know, a movie me and Emily watched
Hateful Eight.
on Netflix. Was the Lazarus Effect? Have you heard of that? You remember
Yeah,
that movie?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
With
yeah,
Olivia
yeah,
Wilde?
Yeah.
Is
Was that good?
Is that like a bad horror movie?
I thought about checking
what
that
is
out.
It was interesting, but it just like so many horror movies out there. That movie starts out really interesting, and
I
then,
mean,
it gets its hooks in you,
is
and then
it
by the end
better-
it goes full.
Is it better or
I
worse
see,
than
chat,
Reanimator?
I see.
Because
never
that
seen
is
that.
the plot of like Reanimator.
I've never seen Reanimator.
Reanimator is a classic.
I love.
I watched Nightmare on Elm Street 4 last night.
That's a good fucking
A
movie.
few weeks ago, I watched Nightmare on Elm Street 3, or about a month ago, I watched Nightmare on Elm Street 3 because that's a classic. I used to think that kind of they're in the same camp. 4 is not as good as 3. It's kind of all over the
Visually,
place.
it's fucking great.
Oh yeah, there's some great stuff in there.
It's
but
probably the most realized dreamy of the Elm Streets, I think.
I think 3's the best. 3's the premise of 4 is really the
Y'all-
Alice stuff gets really.
Wait,
stupid.
Y'all wanna
which
hear
one
something
is
crazy?
like Nightmare Dream Warriors? Which
That's
one's
3.
That's
3's the Dream Warriors. The Dream
Okay.
Master is 4, where all of them start dying and give their powers to Alice,
Yeah.
who becomes like a super Dream Master. It's
Y'all want to hear
is not
something
as
crazy?
cool, but-
I have never seen a Nightmare Before.
Not even the
Nightmare on Elm Street
original?
movie.
Shut the fuck up.
You have
Dude.
never watched Star Wars. You
We're
sit
not
your ass
talking.
down.
We've done talking about Star Wars. We're not talking about
dude,
Star Wars.
like the first one is iconic, dude. Like you
I know,
absolutely-
That's still a good movie. The
but
first one.
I'm not saying it's a bad movie.
Dude,
I just never saw
I
it.
will.
the way what's her name dies, where like they
I've
filmed it
seen-
with the rotating room.
Oh,
and
I've seen
stuff.
the scene, but
Oh,
I've
dude,
we
never
need
God.
seen
like
the
trade
movie.
Blu-rays. I'll give you like Nightmare series if I can borrow your Star Wars series, and
Okay.
I'll even throw in a package of kits.
You know what's funny? I bought the Star Wars Blu-ray, and then I was like, I'm gonna watch this on Blu-ray. Sweet. I literally hadn't watched the movies in like probably 5 years, and I was like, sweet. And I popped in A New Hope, and I was watching it, and I got about halfway through it, and I was like, this movie doesn't look that good. I was expecting like it had been like remastered for like Blu-ray and whatnot, and then I finished watching the movie, and I popped it out of my player, and I realized I had put the DVD in, not the Blu-ray.
Fail.
Did that ever happen to you?
Video games. Hey,
fucking
I
worst.
play Fatal Frame.
How's that?
You want to hear about Fatal Frame? the
I want to
first
keep
one?
talking about movies. I'm just kidding. Let's hear about Fatal Frame.
I'm playing Fatal Frame
This
5.
is a big deal, Brad. This is a big deal.
Well, yeah.
We have a thing for Fatal Frame around here.
yeah.
This has been a long time coming.
Like a pulsing heart.
Years ago, I saw this video
Throbbing.
of PewDiePie playing Fatal Frame, and I thought, you know what? I could play Fatal Frame. And then I started playing Fatal Frame games.
And
What the?
the rest is history.
What the fuck are
The
you
rest
doing,
is
Brad?
history.
Something sounds weird with it.
So,
By the way, that's not a true story. Anyways,
I've been playing Fatal Frame 5. Oh, this is kind of a spoiler here. Like, if you care about the stories of these games.
Does it still do that thing where like every time you interact with something, they reach forward slowly?
Well, that was
like
introduced in 4, and that's back in this. Although it's not as
Okay.
cool because it can happen randomly on just regular items. They're not like fake items in the environment.
the thing is, I do care about the story, but I have no idea what the story is
You
in this
know,
game. So
you don't care about the
there's no
story.
context.
No, this is just sort of an Easter egg. Or you find out that one of the girls you play as is the daughter of the girl from the first game. And that's her. The crazy part is she still looks like the girl from the first game. They just made her tall. It's like they don't know how to make a grown-up. They
just give them longer legs.
No, that's what it is. It's just the girl from the first game with longer legs, and that's her mom. They look the same age, except she's really tall now.
That's
It's really strange. Like it's
that's weird.
It's like a really tall fucking 15-year-old.
So the big deal with Fatal Frame 5 is that there was a long like debate. There was a long question of whether or not this game was even coming out. Oh my god.
Is she using a cell phone?
well, yeah, because Fatal Frame 4 never came out here, and people were wondering if 5 was going to come out, but it eventually. I mean, it did. You know, because the Wii U just needed games, and you know, this did have the Wii U
like
pad
dancing.
functionality where you kind of hold it up, and that's the camera.
What's
you know,
with all-
you look through.
That's what that is, I'm guessing, right? Where it's spinning around and shit is the gamepad.
Dutch angles and everything.
Well, I'll explain. So I'm not playing the mode where you actually look at the Wii U pad,
Yeah.
and you're moving it around to kind of aim. I'm not playing it because if I play it that way, what they see on the screen isn't much of a video game. Because you don't see HUD, you can't see the life bar, you can't really even see what's going on. It's not even framed well. You see a big flashing Wii U pad that says, "Look down at your Wii U pad." It's just it doesn't play. So,
Thanks,
so
Nintendo.
so, well, no, I mean, it's not their fault. So, I'm playing with more traditional controls where you use the right analog stick to aim. But here's the problem. You still have to twist the Wii U pad to kind of tilt. Because the new thing about the mechanics in this game is when you shoot and this is very different. This is where it like differs from the other ones greatly, maybe in some negative ways. You shoot a ghost and like some spirit energy kind of like breaks off from them and it's kind of like floating around, and you're trying to get all those in the same shot, because if you can get like up to 5 different things in the same shot, it'll be, you see where it turns
Yeah.
red, then you shoot that and it'll actually like stun them and knock them back and do extra damage. So it's about lining up this perfect shot, and to do that you have to rotate the Wii U pad, which it looks a little weird here because, you know, it's more designed to where you're only seeing what's in that box. But, you know, if you play this way, you can see obviously a lot more than that. But you see what I'm getting at, where you got to turn it to, you know, see more. Also, there are sequences where they grab you and like their face is like in your, like they're like shaking you, and you got to like rotate the Wii U pad to kind of line up that shot for it to do extra damage and to get them off you. I mean, it's an interesting idea. I'm guessing that it kind of look at her. She's just really tall. I mean, it's like they don't understand that some people just stay short. It's like older means tall. It's dumb. So that new mechanic, it doesn't work that well when you're using the right analog stick, because when you turn the Wii U pad sideways, you still have to do like up on the analog stick to move it to the right.
Oh,
It just doesn't play that well. It's a flaw that I'm having because I'm not playing maybe the way it was intended.
It sounds better in theory than it actually does.
Like it might actually be okay. I'm just not playing the way it was originally designed. This seems like kind of a, just like, oh, well, what if people don't want to play it that way? Well, we'll just put in this mode. But I think I've adjusted to it, and I think it's been fine. My problem with the combat is more that they throw so much at you. It might be because of these new mechanics, and they need you to have multiple targets so you can get these red frame shots. But like, look at what's happening there. I'm just eating shit, constantly getting hit, and like I could play Fatal Frame and like you do a ghost battle really well. You're not gonna get hit that often, but like. At any given time, I have like 20 herbal medicines in my inventory because you fucking need them, because they just chew through your health. It's like every regular ghost you come across in this game might be like a boss ghost from another Fatal Frame. Like that's how like crazy they are. With like these enemies have like bullet attacks that are like slowly floating towards you. And they do that because they want you to have multiple targets to try to line up, but at the same time, like that's intense, dude. Like it's hard to fight these things.
So that was pretty cool. You twisted it so you get the full body shot in frame. That was
exactly because you do more damage that way.
Are you still using the camera obscura, or are she supposed to be using like a cell phone or something?
No, she's using the camera obscura.
Okay, so the issues I have with this series. I mean, I've played through the first 3. I think the issues I have with this series are the same ones you have issues with the Yakuza series, in as much as this, besides the whole gamepad thing, it doesn't look any different at all. But the thing is, at least like with the Yakuza, although it doesn't mix up the formula too much, the story is much more of a focus. This one, it seems like they had to add the gamepad thing, one, to make use of the gamepad, and two, to have something new to offer, because just visually, I mean, despite looking a little bit higher res, it doesn't look any different.
It's a Wii U game.
But Fatal Frame...
but not that. I'm about artistically. I mean, there's only so much you can do with like the environments that you're in. I mean,
I agree with you. I think Fatal Frame as a series has not evolved nearly as enough as it should have. Like as far as like its visual style and like it especially with like 1 through 3, it would be, unless you're really familiar with like the main characters and whatnot, you could look at a screenshot of any one of those and not really know what you're looking at.
Exactly.
But
sure.
But
that's because the characters always look so
But the thing
similar.
is, like, the draw of Fatal Frame, has always been like they tell these really creepy stories, and like that's always been the draw.
So this one
for
has
me.
a creepy story. I do feel like there's way more notes in this one than in the other ones. But let me back up a little bit here, because my first session with this game, where I probably played like 6-7 hours, like I had a good time. I was kind of a little perplexed by the lower reviews this one's been getting. I mean, the first 3 Fatal games, they reviewed well. Those are
why is this getting lower reviews?
I'll tell you why. And it's a couple of the things that I'm not as pleased about with this game. It's the kind of thing where, when you first start playing it, you don't know that it's going to become a problem. First of all, unlike the other Fatal Frame games, this is not like a singular environment where you're kind of like branching out, unlocking new areas. You're getting into places you couldn't get into before. There's like various save points. It kind of plays like a... like a horror game would, like a Silent Hill or Resident Evil or something, This one I was recording footage. I would totally be doing, like, making some lewd comments right now, but that is her mother, so...
She honestly looks the same age.
And that stopped you?
No. it wouldn't have stopped me, but I didn't have the mic on, because I was just recording footage. So this one doesn't have those types of environments. It has a bunch of different environments, and they feel like disconnected. There's like a forest. There's the shrine.
So their attempt at making more diverse environments ended up making it feel very disjointed.
I think so. Yeah. But and that was fine at first until you constantly go back to the same places over and over again with different characters doing the same shit, fighting the same fucking ghosts. But like it's repetitive in a way that it didn't feel as repetitive. I mean, granted, you did spend a lot of time in the same environments in those first games, but like I said, you were kind of like branching out, unlocking new paths, getting into rooms you couldn't get into
You
before.
felt progression.
You weren't just going back to the same place over and over again that had all the same rooms and all the same, like you go into like some of these places like 4, 5, 6 different times, and you're not even really unlocking new. You're getting a new story. Maybe you're playing as a new character, but exploring the environment just isn't as fun in this game. Not to mention that the character is just a lot more sluggish than it was in the first 3 games.
Whoa! The character is more sluggish.
I was
here?
gonna say
Well, she does have a sprint, like an actual sprint, which still isn't very fast, but at least they animate it to look like she's hauling ass.
So is this the first? This must be the first Fatal Frame game that I've seen that they actually do move with a purpose.
Well, yeah. At least this character does. And that's great. I thought that was great at
Yeah.
first. But I'm just talking about, like, basic moving around, turning around and stuff. That's a lot more frustrating. Between missions, you'll go back to this house that you kind of stay at, the various people that live here or that you're trying to rescue. But you know what's so frustrating about this goddamn game? And it's one of the reasons you keep going back to the same environments over and over again. It's the story conceit. Like there's this mountain with all this obviously cursed stuff, rituals. People go there to die or suicide, or it's just a place for a ghost story. This mountain with various homes and shrines and stuff like you'd expect, right?
Yes.
Forests, creepy forest caves, but. Every character in this game wants to do something on that mountain, right? They want to go investigate something, like if you're the dude, or they want to go find a person. It's usually them finding a person. But almost every single chapter in this game starts and ends the same way. I need to go to the mountain for some reason. I found this person, or I'm about to find this person, or I found out this new piece of information. Oh shit, this ghost is attacking, like this one-hit kill ghost, or like some other shit's going down. Well, you need to get the fuck out of here. But like, they still have to eventually go back to that mountain. So every chapter ends with you like running your ass off, trying to get the fuck out of there, but you inevitably have to go back because you have unfinished business. So you just go back to these same fucking environments. You never stay there, because you're chased away, like every time. Does that make any sense?
Kinda.
Like it's the story conceit. These people are like, oh, we shouldn't be here anymore, which totally makes sense. Because in the other Fatal Frame games, there's like all this horrible shit's happening, and they just stay there. You know? But in this one, it's like, oh, of course they're not going to stay there. They're going to go home because fuck this place. But they go back because they have so many reasons to keep going back. But like as a game, that makes it really frustrating. And as a story, that makes it kind of frustrating because they're going back. I mean, they're like looking for people and whatnot, but it's just
It sounds like you don't really get a good sense of progression if you're constantly going back and forth.
you're not getting a good sense of environmental progression.
No, and that's why it was getting shat upon, or what?
Well, I mean, also, there's some of these really elaborate ghosts, but you're just fighting them constantly. Like I'm pretty sure there's more ghost encounters than there was in the previous Fatal Frame games, and that would be fine if there was like a story to why you kept fighting them, or just like why.
Well, like
And
Fatal
honestly,
Frame,
don't-
like earlier Fatal Frame games, I feel were so successful because like the combat scenarios were sparse. You never knew when you were going to be running into a ghost.
And when they were random, that's the most frightening because you knew.
so
you
they're
were never
not
safe.
random here. It's literally if
Well,
you
no,
go back in a
I
room,
think
they're
they're
there.
random. They have this meter where the more you get wet,
I'm sorry, what?
there's like this cursed water. So when it rains, when you're on the mountain, you get more wet. And if that meter fills, then I think ghosts are more likely to appear. And there's like this ember system where you can kind of
So the
dry
more,
yourself
like,
off.
Your wet, like white clothing
Yeah,
becomes.
I mean, it's a little pervy there, but it's not really about that. It's just like this mechanic, but it doesn't work that well because sometimes it's just raining and there's nothing you can do about being wet.
Is
So
the rain cursed?
the ghost? I'm sure. So the ghosts do more damage. They're more frequent. It's just kind of frustrating because like this part requires me to wade through water. There's not much I can do. I just have to get wet. Yeah.
Are the environments in this
I'd
game?
love
Would
someone
you
to just tune
say
in right now.
are they like is this game overall as creepy as previous Fatal
I'm
Frame
glad
games?
you asked that.
Because I'm looking at this footage and it seems like you're in a lot of like really clean, well lit areas, and
Well,
then there's
okay.
just like a couple ghosts
So,
kind of
so this
floating
is
around.
kind of like a Fatal Frame 3 mechanic where you go to the mountain and that's like the horror, but then you come home and that's like your safe place. But like Fatal Frame 3, your safe place becomes not so safe. And it becomes actually really creepy to explore like this environment you usually do before you head out to the mountain. And there was even one chapter that's kind of like this Five Nights at Freddy's thing. Not really mechanically, but it's basically one of the dudes just like looking at all the different cameras in that home, trying to say what's going on in you know her room, what's going on. You start seeing ghosts and stuff. And you start having to like run out to like save the people that are being attacked by a ghost on the camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mechanically speaking, it's not very like complex, but it's a neat idea. I think they were trying to go for the Five Nights at Freddy's thing. I just wish they did a little more with it. As far as is this as scary? It's kind of not, and I'll explain why. One, the environments aren't as spooky because you're very rarely just in like a creepy old fucking house. When that,
Yeah.
I think that's where it's claustrophobic. That's where it's the
This is
most
like-
creepy. You spend a lot of time outdoors. You spend a lot of time in like shrines, and I know shrines can be creepy, but it's not like a creepy old house.
But when they look like
with an
when they
attic.
look clean and there's
Yeah,
a bunch
yeah,
of lights
sterile, sure.
everywhere, yeah, and then the ghost just kind of seems out of place there. But like
it's the ghosts.
everything that you're showing so far looks kind of cool. Like it looks like some of this area that you're in right now looks like it could be kind of creepy. But like where the video started, I don't understand how there's any tension at
See,
all.
I remember a
Like,
specific
so
one
much
in
light.
number 2.
No, there is tension in that little house. Trust me.
Really?
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with like sound design.
That's
too,
one of
which
the
is not coming
scarier
across.
Exactly. I mean,
environments.
sound design is obviously very important, but I mean, there's one scene in this whole series that sticks to mind with me, and that was number 2, very early on. Like, you go through this one door, and then there's this really kind of staticky, loud cutscene, and you enter that room. It's just like this room full of like, you know, wood boards everywhere, except like you could tell some fucked up shit's gone on there, and things are just disturbed, and it was just an unsettling place to
Dude,
be
I
in.
mean,
Fatal
that
Frame-
was a lot of.
Fatal Frame 2 is one of the most unsettling games I've ever
Yeah,
played.
I mean, to me, it's the best in
I think
what I've
one's
played.
the best, but I mean, I think 2 is actually one of the lesser scary ones.
Really? That game's
But I
scary.
think it has like maybe one of the better stories. It has great moments for sure, like the box. But check it out. Here's the reason I don't think this one is as scary. I told you to play 2 because it's widely considered to be the best in the series. That's why, Chris Davis. Check it out though. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out.
Check it
Look
out.
at what I'm fighting. These are like monks throwing fireballs at me with robes and stuff.
Yeah, see, that's
but
not-
like the ring is the scariest movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
When the ghosts look like that fucking ghost from the ring. This is me temporarily switching to
When they
the
look
Wiimote
like-
controls, and this is why I didn't play it that way. Look at what they would see on screen.
my
It's just
God.
kind of lame.
Take it out
But
of it.
but these are like all like shrine maidens and stuff. So you see these women like floating around like doing these dances or whatever, and they're wearing like robes and it's old, it's traditional, and like I could see how that's creepy, but it's not like the
But
broken
it's not
neck
like
ghost.
dead people. Creepy.
Exactly.
It's not
they
like
don't
Christina
look- yeah.
Ricci's dead floating head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not. They're not that scary.
Is that a culture thing or what? I mean, I don't know. Like, is it more? Is that what is in this game much more scary to people in Japan? Sure, I don't know.
I
It's like
thought,
I
I
could
thought
see
the
this
whole like
something-
Ringo's like long hair,
See, that's very
pale
traditional.
girl thing.
That's
was
a very
traditional.
that's a very romanticized view of how I think we see their horror. Whereas I think they have. They
That's
must
not
have
I
how
their
think
they
own.
see
both are
themselves,
pretty
yeah.
common in their horror. I just think this one went more for like they really lean into like the old timey like rituals and shrines and stuff, which you know that's always sort of there in Fatal Frame.
Yeah.
But you see a lot more of just creepy dead person, like the broken neck ghost or whatever,
Yeah.
or shit that.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of how people bitch, or not bitch, but people dislike the whole cult element of Silent Hill. Like I know you do.
Exactly. I hate that.
I hate that
See,
shit.
I
it's
like
not.
that
It's
shit.
not as creepy,
Well, then the thing is,
in my opinion.
yeah,
Obviously it's subjective,
creepiness
but-
is subjective. So,
Also,
you know,
at the point in time when you're talking about cults, that means you've already explained too much, and I think horror is at its best when
And Silent
you
Hill
don't know
doesn't,
what the fuck's
Silent Hill
going on.
doesn't
Don't know what's going on.
explain a lot of anything.
But like one of the creepier ghosts in this game is this character that was you knew in the story who she dies because she cuts her own neck, and right before she does it, she sees another ghost like doing the same thing, and it's like a really creepy moment. And then she pops up a few times, and it's this ghost, and you just see her just kind of looking all like kind of like dead ghost, like just kind of coming towards you. Look normal, not that dangerous, but then you see her like kind of pull out her knife, and she'll repeatedly like cut her neck throughout the course of the fight, and she'll become like a much creepier ghost, where she's like reenacting like her death, and like that's a cool ghost. But most of the shit I'm fighting are dancing fucking ladies, and it's not scary to me. It's not. I mean, there'll be some jump scares. Don't get me wrong. The game will still scare you, but it's not. It doesn't get under my skin like some of the others have in the past.
A jump scare doesn't really necessarily mean it's a scary game.
It's some cool ghost designs, and some of the explanations for them are really cool too. But like, it's not. So
that's what I was going to say. Like, it would sound more interesting if. I mean, it sounds like you have a lot of encounters, which on one hand is cool, but the idea of knowing the story behind maybe each ghost that you encounter, that would be more cool in my opinion.
Well, these games definitely do that. Yeah, they absolutely do that. But
that's more interesting than the actual like fight, as far as I'm concerned.
But the problem is it's just note after note after note, and it's not like deliver the story in a more interesting way. Also, subtlety would go a long way here. And like these games, they want to explain everything to death, especially this one. And I think that kind of hurts it a little bit. It would be nice. Like, this is a little off topic, but I was watching, have y'all seen any Paranormal Activity movies?
Yeah. Oh, dude, Paranormal Activity 1 is the scariest movie I've ever seen in my life.
So Paranormal Activity 1 is a great horror movie. And then like the series becomes obsessed with its own lore.
I even like
tying everything together. And like this person's related to this person. And this woman is possessed by this thing. Yeah. But in Paranormal Activity 1, like that movie spends like 5 minutes where like the two people that are living in this house are like, you know what, let's try to look this up. Like, who is this thing? Like, what is this thing? They spend 5 minutes looking it up. They read like this website, like it could be this woman. And it's like really creepy.
Yeah, they literally Google it.
And then they just move on. And they just let it sit. You never know like what is that fucking creepy ass woman that they saw on that website for 5 minutes before they just moved on with the story? Yeah. Like, and that's the best way to do horror, not like what happened with the rest of that series, you know?
Why didn't they look at their own
plant
footage?
a seed and just walk away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let the person viewing or playing do the rest of the work.
Honestly, it's funny you brought up Selling Out a little while ago, because that is a film franchise that has sold the fuck out.
All horror franchises. I mean, it's like what we talked about with Terminator months ago. You know, they had like a cool idea, but then they had to explain everything. And
could you imagine if Paranormal Activity was just one movie? If it was just they made Paranormal Activity and they never made anything else,
it would go down like the Blair Witch has,
or Star Wars. This is a little bit like Star Wars. And as we were watching Star Wars, I was kind of explaining to Malia, I'm like, you don't understand. There are books written about every single person you've probably seen on the screen every second of film. There is a name for each of those person, and we probably know who their family is. And like it's this thing that was this small thing that became like everything. Yeah. And I think that's what's wrong with a lot of quote unquote franchises, that they won't just leave it alone or tell new stories. They have to like connect. Everything's got to be connected. Like the fact that I'm fighting this ghost next to my mom, who's the girl from the first Fatal Frame. You don't fucking need that. Stop it. Stop it. Oh, it's so annoying. It's just service to the fans that don't even realize that they're slowly letting these people ruin the thing that they
sounds
love.
like Resident Evil to me.
That sounds like every franchise.
Yeah. Resident Evil would have been fine on its own, as would have 2, but no, like even from 2 onwards, they had to connect everything, and obviously the further down the line you get, the more convoluted and fucked up that it gets, to the point where you stop giving a shit about the story, which was one of the first things that draw you into the series in the first place.
Then all of a sudden Legolas is in The Hobbit, and you just want to die.
You want to know what TV show I love?
No.
Dexter.
Well, aside from Dexter, I was gonna say Lost, because that show went on for 7 seasons, something like that. I watched every fucking episode, and I loved just about every fucking episode, because that show was nothing but planting seeds and never reaping what they sow. Like it was like I'm gonna plant the seed, and we're never gonna tell you what the fuck that was about. We're gonna drop like hints and maybe kind of suggest what it might be about, but we're gonna mostly leave it up to you to try and figure out, come up to your own conclusions.
When you can see the process of a network television like writing room where like they'll start a storyline and then that actor had to leave the show and they're like, okay, well we can't we can't do anything with that anymore.
That show, when you look back on it, it's kind of amazing because it's like they were just like, you know what would be fucking crazy if this happened, but what, like, how are we gonna explain it later? I don't give a fuck, let's just do it and see what happens. And
like the first season, they find the hatch and then they like end the season blowing it open. They're like, okay, that's season 1. Now,
what's in the hatch?
What the fuck's down there?
I feel like that was like I feel like it was almost like a mad-libbed like TV show. And in a way, like, but it's kind of amazing because they still told an overarching story and they didn't answer a shitload of questions. But like, man, that show was just fun to watch from episode to episode.
Going back to what Brad said, by the time you get to the end of that show and they've actually explained all the weirdness,
but they don't.
Sucks.
But they don't explain it.
They do. By the end, they do. They give you enough of a MacGuffin at the end of season 7 that you kind of get like, oh well, it's this, like, and that's kind of causing everything.
But even then,
it happened to Battle.
But even then, it was blurry. Even then, it was blurry.
Okay, so remember when they had fucking what's his face doing the button, and you didn't even know if the button actually did anything? That was more interesting than when they found out the button did something. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But let's.
I'm gonna go
we got
rewatch
other
that show.
big games to talk about. That's it for Fatal Frame. I'm finding it a little disappointing, sort of at the tail end of it. I'll be finishing it up this week. And
speaking of disappointing,
hopefully it gets good towards the end.
You want to know what I've been playing that's not disappointing?
Wait, you said speaking of disappointing.
I know. Well, then I said, would you like to know what I'm
speaking of the opposite of what you're speaking?
Speaking of what the opposite of what you were talking about.
Manhunt's really good.
No, we'll talk about Manhunt later.
Manhunt is good. I'm staying by that. I like that.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk. Do you want to talk about Manhunt first?
No. Talk about Assassin's Creed. These people want to know.
Spoilers.
All right. I started Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and I told myself months ago. You heard me. I said if this game does not get decent reviews, I will not pick it up. And I waited and I waited and I waited. Came out. What do you know? The game's getting decent scores. And I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan, so yes, I picked it up. I started playing it. I've only played about 4 hours of it. But
you can actually play it. There's a novelty.
Yes, you can actually play it. This game is not a buggy fucking mess like Assassin's Creed Unity. Of course, it's an Assassin's Creed game like any other Assassin's Creed game. It has bugs.
It's mildly buggy.
It is mild. I mean, it's mildly buggy. It's no more buggy than what you would expect from any open world game, I'd say. Like it is like Unity. I found Unity to be practically an unplayable mess. Actually, not practically. I got to a mission where I couldn't even go inside of a window in a mansion full of windows. It was literally a mansion with 50 fucking windows, and I couldn't get my character to jump through the window. So I had to stop because my target was inside the mansion.
Hey Nick, can you grind on the train tracks?
No, this is not Infamous, bro. This is not Infamous.
So that
still with the hay.
So yeah, exactly.
Dude,
I was just thinking that.
Still with the fucking hay. Yes, I don't know what their obsession with hay is. That's kind of that's kind of amazing.
So I was kind
that
of
mechanic is.
I don't really know anything about this one. All I know is it's set in London. I was kind of expecting this to be set like during the plague or some shit.
Well, again, no. I mean, the thing is, Assassin's Creed, even in each Assassin's Creed game, they jump years. Like they jump around time periods.
But what is like the theme of this one?
So you play two assassins. It's a brother and sister team. They're twins, and you can switch between them on the fly. So you can be out in the open world. You can press the start button and push down on the R3 button, and it switches you over to the other character.
Why are you playing as the dude?
Well, for this particular mission, I was playing as the dude.
You should always play as the girl.
Okay, that is the most obnoxious like people have been saying that like nonstop, and it's like I get it. You want to play as a girl character. You think it's funny because Ubisoft's like girls are hard to program.
No, it's not about humor. I play as the girl in any video game.
I know, and I play as the girl a hell of a lot in this game. But there are two characters here, and they both have different play styles. And yes, I switch between them. The male character is more of a brutish character, so he goes in, he delivers more powerful punches. He's not nearly as graceful, and he's not quite as quick. And then the other character is more is stealth based. She's more agile. She moves faster. She she wrecks shop, man. It is when you get like startled and you walk up to a dude and you realize you've been caught and you just go into like you hit a button to like attack them, to like subdue them, and she just fucking pulls out a cane and wails on them for like 30 seconds until they're just beat into submission.
30 seconds.
Dude,
That's an exaggeration.
it's almost excessive, but it feels amazing.
But this plays pretty fluid, or what?
It plays very fluid. Now, here's the thing. I was recording this footage last night, and I was just kind of like, I didn't really know what I was going to do because I didn't really want to do like a main mission or anything like that. I just wanted to kind of capture the running around the world. And over the course of this like 25 minutes of footage, it's kind of amazing how many different things I end up doing, and all kind of like fluidly throughout the world. Like, that was just a random like Templar that was in the world map that you can basically go and do an assassination mission. They're kind of like sprinkled around the world, and you find them. You don't have to go talk to a person to find it out. You talk to a person at the very beginning of the game. They kind of mark them all over the world map, and then you can, once you're kind of in that area, you can identify them and then take them out however you want. And of course, you get bonus points and whatnot for taking them out if you take them out using a.
It's set up a lot like Unity was.
Yeah,
they kind of sweep you through the area.
And you know
show
what? That was
different
the best part of Unity. Like,
that was, and it was buggy, but that was actually the demo that we played at PAX. Was one of those sections as the Eevee.
They give you a lot of options in this game.
Yeah.
And not to mention, one thing I really like is they've kind of revamped the Eagle Vision, because not only can you upgrade it and it marks like enemies in the map, but it also marks points of entry into certain buildings. So like my biggest problem with Unity was like they give you all these options for like things you can do, but it's really easy to overlook those things. Like, there were points where it was like I'd get a mission and I'd be like, okay, there's probably some cool way I can take out this dude, but like it required me to like be aware of this like tiny door or entryway into a building that I may totally miss and completely miss the ability to do like a really cool assassination. And that would happen more often than not. Like I would more often than not, I would sneak up behind a dude and stab him, classic Assassin's Creed style, because I just didn't know how to do all the other things. In this, you see your target, you see the environment, you can use your Eagle Vision, and it will mark like point of entry, point of entry, point of entry, and you can immediately see there are like multiple routes you can take to go into a building, which could lead to opportunities to take them out in different ways. That seemed really cool to me. And just about this is kind of crazy. And I know Jaeger in chat a second ago said he was playing a mission. I think it was Jaeger. Said he was playing a mission, and he said it felt kind of like Hitman to him. I played the first main mission in this game, and it felt like a level in Dishonored. Like, it's a big, giant, open environment. There are dudes everywhere. Like, some dude, like there's a door that may need a key to get through, but there's a guard that has the key. It doesn't tell you to go find the key, but if you find the key, it gives the ability to go find the entryway to into that door and go in a different way. Like, and that was just kind of the very beginning. And I'm really eager to see how fleshed out these get. But like, they give you a lot of options, and I never felt like I was being funneled into doing a very specific.
So when you say
thing.
like Dishonored, you mean like Hitman?
Yes. Well, yeah, sure.
Which was like Hitman.
Yes, sure. Dishonored, Hitman.
Well,
like, but I'm talking about just like this more like Dishonored to me, just because of the nature of the environment,
Yeah,
the way
sure,
it looks.
sure,
But
You eavesdrop anybody yet?
no, I
Good.
did have to chase a dude though. But
That's fine.
but
That's
they
never gonna go
early
away.
on, like I've only done like 4 or 5 hours of the game. Early on, they of course make you do some of those things. Like there's like of course there's all kinds of little tiny things like missions you can do around the city, just like any other
Do
Assassin's
they
Creed
have
game.
do they have subtitles for the people that speak Cockney?
Yeah,
fucking
actually, yes. There's so your headquarters in this game is on a train,
Okay.
and there's a lady like the conductor on the train. I don't know if she's a conductor, but she like oversees this train and she handles all this stuff on board the train.
Sounds
and
like
she speaks in a Cockney accent, and she's like she talks, and I had no fucking clue what she said, and the subtitles at the bottom like in parentheses, like it wrote out what she said in the accent, and then in parentheses
Sounds
wrote,
like Lock, Stock, and
what
Two
it
Smoking
means.
Barrels.
yeah, like what it actually meant. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And the game seems to me like it has like a lot of humor in it. The main characters are actually likable.
A lot of people are saying that Jacob sucks in chat. I saw that.
Like,
a lot of people were like, he's a twat. He's a fucking.
He is
What do you
kind
think's
of
cool
he's
as
kind of a
Connor?
prick. He's kind of a prick.
Yeah.
But he's also very much I think he has more personality than most.
Was he like a roguish, like charming?
I mean, he's kind of
Han
like
Solo
he's kind of
type?
like, I don't give it. Like, I'm just gonna shoot from the hip and do whatever I want because fuck it. And he's kind of a prick, but whatever. He has more personality than like the assassins in the last 2-3 games, I think. Like the last character that I think had as much personality as him is probably Ezio.
Wait, what about the dude from Black Flag?
Dude, Black Flag.
Edward?
What'd you say?
Oh God! Don't call attention to it, Brad. I didn't. Black.
Talking
Flag,
about the character from the
enunciate.
Vita one?
Oh God!
Flag.
I'm getting excited. I'm talking faster than I should be. God damn it, Brad! Thanks for just derailing the
Well,
conversation.
now we know what you think of Kinway.
Edward Kenway was not the highlight of that game. I don't think. I mean, that game had a lot
He
of.
got overshadowed by.
Yeah,
By the boat?
I think
Pirate ships.
Kenway sucked. Arno was.
Arno-
okay.
What about Connor?
Dude, Connor.
And Connor's mostly.
Like, he just fucking
Is he also
mumbled.
an
He
Edward
mumbled. Like,
He did mumble. I mean, Ezio is still the pinnacle of the franchise as far as characters go.
Well, to
And
be fair,
for
he
sure.
had 3 games about him,
Yes.
so he got to
Yes, and like
evolve.
you can see what they're like. What since that game, they've been waiting to see which character maybe sticks the most, and then like, okay, people like this character. Let's flesh out their story into multiple games because you know it's probably coming. And they've stumbled. In fact, Edward Kenway might have been a better choice, but he was totally overshadowed by the mechanics of the game. So, anyways,
I have another
What
question.
about the lady? You didn't say anything
I know
about the lady.
I like the
and then
lady.
we'll get to your question.
The thing is,
Then we'll get to my question.
like they're twins, they're brother and sister, so they have that sibling rivalry going, whatever. And they're both very different personalities, but you can tell they're related because of the way they talk to each other. Like, it's really cool that they decided to do a set of characters. I think because you don't have to try and like cover a whole bunch of bases in one character. Like that, it gives them the ability to make 2 completely different characters with 2 completely different personalities, and they play off each other like constantly because they're always on screen together, like in cutscenes and whatnot, and that's pretty cool. I think they've really done some of the best character work they've done, and not to mention all the supporting cast so far has been really good. Like they're really well voice acted, they're really likable. There's a lot of humor in it, more so than I think in the last few games.
Not enough top hats. What's up with that? You just
there's-
sticking with the hood,
I think
or
there's more. Okay, so
Imagine how many weapons you can hide
So-
in a top hat.
at this point, and I'm wondering this because like when you're playing as Jacob, he like in the very beginning of the game, the first mission, he's just wearing like a regular coat and he has a hat. And this is a shocker. This is the big thing. And honestly, I can't remember if they did this in Unity. Shows you how much I cared about Unity. There is a crouch button in this game. You can straight up like go into like stealth mode where he crouches and you can move around. And like it has a cover system, so if you walk up to a corner, he'll like attach to it. It works more like a modern stealth game than I think it ever has before. Because does anybody remember if Unity had the crouch button?
it did.
Yeah,
It did.
I think
I think that was the first time they really introduced it. But like you
I remember
can
seeing that.
like that worked really well. Like it.
But you didn't answer my question. Though.
What's the question?
Can I choose to wear a top hat and never the hood?
I don't know. I've only played 4 hours. He's still wearing like a coat and.
He hasn't
and
even
a-
gotten
a-
to like his full assassin gear yet.
No, he's like she already has like her assassin outfit and whatnot, but he is still wearing just an overcoat and when you go into stealth mode, he pulls out like a little black cap and like puts it over his head. Like, I
Oh
don't
my
know.
god, that's just fucking Watch Dogs. Right? That's what he does in Watch Dogs.
Yeah, yeah.
This is what he does in
he
Watch
pulls
Dogs.
up the fucking,
Oh no, he pulls up the thing. He always wears the hat.
fucking
Okay.
mask. Yeah.
Thank you.
What's going on? What's going on with the meta narrative?
So this is where I'm okay. So this is probably gonna be great news to you guys. This is where I'm kind of disappointed because apparently all of the modern day stuff in this game is in a cutscene. There's no interactive portion.
Good.
Oh yeah,
I-
that seems fun.
Well, I kind of hate that because some of my favorite stuff from the previous Assassin's Creed games has been the points where you go into the modern day stuff. I love.
I feel like the stuff you physically do in those environments isn't very fun to play.
The thing is, I don't know where they're. I've only seen like 1 or 2 cutscenes so far from the modern. So you see how like how much.
Chris Davis, like you pick the oddest battles.
Yeah, that's
you know.
Well, I mean, honestly, I'll kind of jump into Chris's court here because like that's my biggest disappointment in this game because people who play Assassin's Creed fall into 2 very distinct camps. They either are all for the meta narrative or they hate it. And I fall into I love the meta narrative. And the fact that
I
they're
would
moving
love-
farther away from it is just.
Is it that the cutscenes aren't very good?
No, I mean they
Is it
seem
that
they
Nolan
seem
North
interesting.
doesn't need any work, or
No, I mean like they are long cutscenes and they're definitely doing something with the meta narrative. They're just taking all of the control out of
It
your
probably
hands.
feels disappointing because if it's been there since the beginning and now it isn't, it's just more
Is that a
noticeable.
grappling hook?
Yes,
But is the story of the meta narrative Even though it's in cutscenes, good.
I've only seen one cutscene so far.
Oh, okay. Well, then, I mean, I don't. Yeah.
I don't know what happened between.
Remember the one where you're like making blocks in first person?
Yeah.
That was dumb.
I don't know, man. I have always loved seeing what they do, because they do something a little bit different every time with the modern day stuff, and that's always been really cool to me. Like, everyone talks about Assassin's Creed being like, you know, carbon copies of themselves, but like the stuff that happens outside of the Animus has always been different.
But you know why this may have happened?
And that's the stuff that people always bitch about and hate.
This may have happened because of the rating system, and people were just 1 star and all that crap.
It's definitely possible, but like every opportunity I had, I was voting that shit up. But like,
They haven't done it in an interesting way since if you want to argue that
I love
Assassin's Creed 3 had like some interesting meta narrative stuff, that's fine, whatever. That's
wait, what? I don't even remember what they did.
That
in
was
3.
the one. That was the one where. Wait, wasn't that the one where fucking Miles started doing like like going on assassin missions in the real world? Like
Yeah, I
he
think
snuck
so.
into that like
Yeah,
stadium and everything. Like okay, fine. You want to make the case that was cool. That's great. But then they never even like attempted to try to do that again.
You said you liked
They got
7 4,
really fucking weird.
but gameplay wise, what do you actually do in 4 outside of like some mini games?
Dude, the Black Flag stuff is you just walking around an office, like hacking into computers.
It's like Dear Esther, like you're walking around an environment, reading letters, and like expanding the universe. Like that was, and you're seeing all these things happen, like trying to sneak into the office of like the
game director.
Yeah, like,
This conversation is absolutely insane to me, because I mean, this is someone who's not really a big fan of this series, for the simple reason that the big attraction for all these new Assassin's Creed games typically is the theme, the setting of where it typically takes place.
is, yeah.
Right, which is London. But all I'm hearing you guys talk about is the stuff outside of that. Personally,
Because crispy ass.
well,
I
even
just
besides
asked
that, but I
'cause
mean,
I was-
just outside of this conversation, I hear a lot of people talking about it. Personally, I mean, like, the reason I can't get into this series is I would just rather play a game that is just set in London without the
I'm a
modern,
jack here,
without the modern interface,
But, like,
the
that's the
glowy
whole-
lines around people and shit. I don't
See,
want any of that. It's distracting.
I
just want a game set in
I
London or
completely
set
disagree,
whenever.
because I think the most
agree.
unique thing about this franchise from the very beginning has been the science fiction spin
No,
on the whole thing.
sure, that's fine, Nick. I agree with what Jack's saying in relation to this game, only because that aspect of Assassin's Creed has been shit for like 4 games now.
Also, I
Like,
disagree. I think
like, if
science
they're-
fiction is pretty common for video games, while this setting is not.
Exactly, and
Whoa,
a lot
whoa,
of the
whoa, whoa,
settings
whoa.
that Assassin's Creed visits aren't common. So it would be, the story would have much more chance to be impactful if it was just 100% set and they're not dealing with any of this present day bullshit.
But that's the most unique thing about the franchise is how it blends.
just because it's unique doesn't mean it's good.
history and science fiction. Like
You can do it.
This is a debate.
This is
a
an argument of
conversation we
taste.
should
This
be
is a
having.
debate where we're just gonna
Yeah.
like that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
It's
Syndicate. Why is Syndicate? Why is Assassin's Creed back? That's what
I'm not here to tell.
But that's
it's
what
never
people
gonna
are
be.
saying.
It's never gonna be back for you. Like the thing is,
No, I'm not talking about for me. I'm talking about for fans
But like
of the series.
someone like me who was a fan of the
Yeah.
series, who was really disappointed about Unity, am I gonna want to play this?
Yes, that's the
yes,
question I'm asking.
I think definitely. The characters and the story seem interesting. Again, the combat feels really nice. It's actually, and it's also different. It works differently this time. And actually, it's faster paced. It's a little more brutal, and at the same time, it kind of feels more like because remember before it was timing like parries and stuff with
Yeah,
you know
it was like counter.
that may still be here. I haven't really gotten far enough to kind of tell, but it seems to me it's a little more familiar with. It's a little more like Batman-y now, where you're kind of like timing your dodges and counters. But
Well, that makes
it flows really well. But the big thing here is I think it's options. Like the missions, it's options and it's not broken as fuck.
Sure.
How's that? Like the simple
That's-
version of it is lots of options. The world is really, it's very large. It doesn't also
That
feel like
sounds
it's
good. That sounds good.
Also, so the whole kind of story conceit of this is the two main characters are kind of they kind of volunteer themselves to go into London to kind of liberate it, because London has been the like Templar like headquarters, like the biggest concentration
Like
concentration
the
of Templars.
owns, like the underground.
Yeah,
and
London
everything.
London is completely ruled by Templars. So they're like, we're gonna take it back, and they go in here and they're like, we're gonna rally the people to fight for us and help us take
That's
it back.
a cool concept. I like
That
that.
is cool.
So-
And getting back to like the story stuff, like I really like the idea of exploring the mythology of the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the context of like the modern day stuff, which, you know, take it or leave it, but like always in universe, like in the stories, like when they're talking about the different states of the Templars and the Brotherhood, that stuff's really interesting. Is there a lot of that going on here?
Seems like there
more?
is.
Because it seemed like after Unity, there was a bit more of a build up with the Brotherhood. Like maybe
The
they
thing is, like,
weren't-
the Brotherhood here is, I don't know if it's actually going to, like, slowly convert over to being a Brotherhood, but, like, instead of, like, recruiting assassins, you're recruiting gang members. Like, they're trying to pull together a street gang. There is a straight-up, like, gangs of New York vibe here. Like, every district
Yeah,
is
that's pretty
controlled
cool.
by a different gang, and you are recruiting people in the streets to fight and help you take back districts.
So kind of.
So the game opens in Whitechapel, and like the first thing you do, and I think I even get to it in this footage, but and in fact I may have already done it, but as you take back more, you accomplish objectives, you take out major Templars in each district, you can rally people's support for you, and then enter into a gang fight where you try and take out a gang and their leader. And once you take out that leader, you've liberated the district. And like,
was like
the
Gangs
first
of New
one
York.
is where you defeat the first one, you fight the dude on top of the train, you kill him, and then you take his hook shot, and that's where you get the grappling hook. So I'm wondering if like every single district is going to have a new leader and gives you like a new item
kinda
or something. I don't know.
upgrade it, yeah.
That grappling hook is good.
I haven't used it yet because the first thing
we used it in the demo.
Oh, yeah,
and,
I
did.
it is cool. I expected it to be like a ripoff of the Batman grappling hook, like the grappling boost and everything like that. It doesn't really work like that though. It's like you can shoot the grappling hook, but then you still have to like actually rappel up the building.
Yeah.
But then you can use it to like shoot like lines across buildings, and then you can like shimmy across like as stealthily
It
as
does.
possible.
It does open up
So,
a lot of traversal
Is
options.
it better than climbing the side of the wall?
The thing is,
Well,
I,
that- I
It
get
seems
tired
it
of
seems
that.
a bit more. Yeah, it seems a bit more like kind of quicker, less sneaky.
see,
kinda
the thing is,
you
I
know?
think I've always liked the climbing up the buildings, but this gives you like an option. It gives you an alternative.
And there's
you're
always
not
those,
always climbing up
and
the
there's
buildings.
always those buildings where
And
it's
the-
like
the
really
famous
weird,
buildings
like
like
how
that.
you're supposed to like climb up them. Like they're kind of like difficult climbing paths.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to just be able to like shoot a grappling hook and then just ascend up. a
Yeah,
hill,
and that
you
stuff
know?
that stuff seems pretty cool. It's
Grappling
I
hook
think it's
is
a
game
welcome
changer,
addition.
Says Jaeger and Nolan.
It's a welcome addition for sure, and I liked what I played with a little bit at the demo at PAX, but I haven't done it yet with the actual game. The first thing you have to do once you get it is fix it because it's broken, and I haven't done that yet. In fact, I think I got the hook shot while I was recording. Not hook shot,
Oh yeah.
but I got it while I was recording this. So, and there's lots of skill trees, Brad. And not only does each individual character have their own separate skill trees, but the gangs themselves, your gang has skill trees, which I
sounds
haven't really done a lot of
micromanaging.
exploring. So, with that, because I just like recruited my first gang members and whatnot, but you can straight up give your gangs new abilities.
This seems cool. I mean, is this like a scripted little sequence?
No,
that's
this
going
is
on
just like this is the way the themes is always like. There's
The
always
themes.
thems. Is
The
that what it is?
themes.
What? How do you say it?
It's Thames.
Thames. Okay, sorry, I didn't.
This-
I'm
this
not
is-
British. I don't know.
You just gave it away.
But yeah, it's really cool because like it's always like this. There's just boats everywhere, and you can straight up use it to
It doesn't look much different.
Did your British heart just shrink a little bit? You're just
Why
like,
are all these people just
Kinda
standing in
going
the rain? Is that pretty common? No one has an umbrella? I felt like the umbrella is pretty iconic to this era.
bumper shoots?
Yeah, people were just standing in the rain.
I will say this, because I know we should probably move on, but like as someone who was like straight up a huge Assassin's Creed fan like myself, I didn't even finish the Unity. I was that bummed out about it, and I was straight up not planning on picking this up before the end of the year. I didn't expect it to get the kind of the attention it's been getting, but it did. So I picked it up and I've played it, and I already have the itch again. Like I'm really enjoying it, and the open world seems really like there's a lot of variety. Like each district has its own unique feel and stuff. And
All right, here's a question. Do you think I would like it? As someone who really
I do
enjoyed
not-
Black Flag after skipping 3,
but you liked Black Flag for the
As
one,
someone who occasionally enjoys a video game every once in a while.
but like you like
as someone who
the
enjoyed
only reason
Assassin's
you liked
Creed
Black
2
Flag was
and
because
Brotherhood and Black Flag,
I will say that you like Brotherhood.
Yes.
I will say this. I have a feeling if unless barring any like major downfalls or whatever
liked the
that
good
crop
ones.
up, this has the potential to be the best since Brotherhood, if not better. I don't know. I can't tell. Like Brotherhood for me has been the pinnacle of non-pirate Assassin's Creed games for me.
Hey, there's still definitely no competitive multiplayer here, right?
No, there is
damn
no.
it!
They completely
Give it back!
They ripped out the multiplayer entirely, and honestly, I think for the sake of the,
I miss that
I know,
multiplayer.
and honestly, I agree, and I hope they go back to it.
It was a
It's
choice.
like-
They either
it was a
animate a
huge-
woman or do multiplayer.
Yeah, okay. You joke,
Jesus
but I
Christ.
will say this: like, I agree with you. I hope they go back to it someday, but I think the single player campaigns have been suffering enough that I think they made the right decision by focusing all of their attention on making the campaign
Because
better.
nobody was playing competitive stuff anyway.
Yeah, but I honestly hope they go back to it and maybe even do co-op sometime. But they needed to sit down and focus on their main campaign and get that shit back on track because it was starting to go off rails. And honestly, there was a news story I saw this morning about this might be the weakest debut of an Assassin's Creed game in a long time.
People are just getting tired of it.
And also
because
after
Unity was last year.
and after Unity was trash, like maybe. Obviously, this is still a moneymaker for them. It's probably not a failure by any means, but like, if it slows down enough, maybe that's enough to get them to say, okay, maybe we should space them out more.
No.
You never know.
They're like,
I mean,
well,
they never
well,
did
now that
release
we're
2 last year.
That is true. I'm just saying.
This is
it's true.
Ubisoft we're talking
Give
about.
people a bigger break between them, and maybe more people will come back and jump on board. I don't think they're gonna do it, but if it has weak sales, they might be like, okay, let's take our time with the next one and make it something really fucking unique, and see what
I think
happens.
ultimately people have been pretty surprised with Syndicate.
I think so. Yeah,
Generally.
definitely.
Okay. Little pet peeve.
Definitely.
Please don't call it Syndicate. Syndicate is a storied video game series.
Yeah, that one on Xbox 360 was great.
It is a
That's someone who
series
never
of
played
video
the computer
games.
version, right?
I'm just saying, don't call it Syndicate. Syndicate exists. There are even games based on Syndicate
Well, that's
that are
not
great.
fair because you called Assassin's Creed Unity, so they can't.
I
they
didn't
can't-
do that.
You just did. You said because Unity was so bad. Like,
I don't think I've ever uttered the word Unity outside of talking about the.
you in this very conversation have been referring to Assassin's Creed Unity as just Unity. Do we not get to
What else
abbreviate
would he
Syndicate
be referring to?
the same way?
I don't think I said Unity.
Well, don't call Black Flag because that's a band.
That is a band. But that's not a video game series.
Anyways,
You know what I mean? It's like if
Syndicate,
we
the
were
video
playing
game.
Assassin's Creed Resident Evil, it would not be cool if we called it Resident Evil.
Why would they name it Assassin's Creed Resident Evil?
I'm saying.
Give it time. Give it time.
Assassin's Creed Halo? Could we call it Halo? Halo's a word. Why can't we call it Assassin's Creed Halo? Maybe it takes place in heaven.
Hello.
anyways, let me just say, speaking of Chris, because I think you're the only one who still kind of may be on board for Assassin's Creed.
I'll give it a try.
I think you should give it a try.
I'll give it a try.
I am officially
Dude, I
drowning.
finished.
I'm officially drowning, guys. I have not even finished Metal Gear Solid 5 yet,
Oh my god.
What?
and
Stop
I wasn't
reminding
planning.
me that exists.
And I wasn't planning on playing Assassin's Creed, and now I'm playing both.
Oh, my obligations.
Are you going to play Revelations?
No.
You don't even know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Assassin's Creed Revelation.
who knows? Who knows what I'm talking
I
about?
thought you were talking about Resident Evil Revelations.
Exactly. Exactly.
God damn it! I hate it when I help Brad make his points. It's the worst feeling.
All right, what else are we going to play?
How long are we going? We need to take a quick break because we spent like 30 minutes talking about movies. So we're gonna come back. We're gonna catch up with Jack, and I'll tell you what I think of Manhunt, and then we'll do news and all that stuff. So if you're watching us live on Twitch, don't go anywhere.
Stick around.
And if you're listening to this on your iPod or whatever, stick around for like a couple minutes.
iPod.
Anyways,
iPad.
we'll be back.
Bye.
Hey, Brad.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, Nick. Hey, Brad.
Hey, Jack.
Welcome to the Bump Spot.
Bump spot.
All right, this week on 4playernetwork.com, what do we have going on, Brad? What do we have?
Horror Week is happening all week long,
Horror
leading up
Week.
to Halloween on Saturday.
Yeah. Oh my God, Halloween's on Saturday.
It's exciting
quick.
stuff. I think we're
Let's
all
go
playing
quick.
some cool shit. George is going to be playing Stasis tomorrow at 3. I've been kind of interested in Stasis. I know it's
feel-
an adventure game, but it got
not too
very
bad.
good reviews.
I feel like I wasted my one chance to broadcast during Horror Week by playing Manhunt, which I'll talk about in the next segment of this podcast.
What else is happening on? I still don't know what Crispy's playing, but
oh,
he's playing Soma.
so we have Soma this week. We have some.
So many games.
We have plenty of Fatal Frame coming up. We have what else we got, Brad?
I'll be playing through if I get the chance. Well, one, I'll be playing some Stalker, which is our subscriber of the month game.
Yep.
I will also be playing some Outlast Whistleblower.
Oh, I love that DLC.
That's good, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you liked Outlast,
I like Outlast.
Outlast?
I
pretty good.
loved Outlast, so I love the DLC. That whole, both the game and the DLC, I think was
Nolan
fantastic.
is going to be playing this game called White Day, which is sort of this kind of floating around the people who play a lot of horror games know of this game. You're like this schoolgirl in this like school, and there's like this creepy dude running around, and it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary.
I'll take your word for
That's
it.
going to be happening on Thursday with Rolling with Nolan.
I would say check out the calendar.
Check out the calendar.
We have horror games lined up all week, so check that out. We'll be playing those all week on 4pp.tv. And other 4Player related news, we hit our $1,000 goal on Patreon
I know,
this
that's
week.
crazy out of nowhere. You guys are the
Out of nowhere.
best.
So we're gonna be probably kickstarting our popcorn cast. Our popcat. We have a lot of movies coming out. We got Spectre coming out soon. We got Star Wars coming out soon. I think those will both make great episodes. So you'll be able to
New
hear
Tarantino movie too, which I'm really excited for.
exactly. Hateful Eight. Is that coming out this year?
Yep,
man.
December 25th.
I can't wait.
There's a lot of good movies.
I've never seen a Tarantino movie I didn't like.
True.
So
we'll be-
most of them I love.
This one's coming out on Christmas Day, but
So we'll be talking about plenty of movies on the Popcorn Cast. So thank you guys very much. In other Patreon-related news, the camping trip that was one of our second or third milestone. We hit that milestone right before the summer, so we wanted to wait till the end of the summer because it was really hot.
Yeah.
And now we're getting towards the part where it's getting cold and rainy, but we're gonna go ahead and do it. We have our campsite scheduled and reserved and all that. So the dates are November. Is it the 7th through the 9th?
7th, 8th, and 9th. Or
7th.
6th, 7th, and 8th. That weekend.
The weekend of November 7th.
Yes.
We're gonna be spending 2 nights out at a campsite, just 4-player crew, a few friends, family, whatever. We're gonna be talking about video games around a campfire, doing all kinds of weird shenanigans. We're gonna
Spooky
be
stories.
spooky
we're gonna be playing
stories.
Games. Not video games, but games. And we're going to film like all of it. It's
we're
going
gonna
to be
we're
great.
gonna film all of it, put together a video for you guys. So look for that on our YouTube channel coming soon. We also have I put up a top 5 video this week. If you haven't yet checked it out, I did my top 5 franchises that I think should try going open world, and that's a public video, so anyone can watch it. Brad has a private top 5 video coming out for our patrons later
My
this
top
week.
5 title screens. Very
Top-
nostalgic corner.
Top 5 title screens.
There was one on your top 5 that I thought they had gone open world, but we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. I mean, I think it depends on how you define open
Sure.
world. Anyways, go check it out. I have the top 5 video. It's on our YouTube channel. Check it out. And last but not least, I think Jack is going to be giving something away. What do you got there, Jack?
yep, I have the Fallout Anthology bomb, which makes a very cool sound effect when you press a little button. Ooh.
To be clear, though, you're not giving away the bomb.
Yep, I want to make that explicitly clear. The bomb is mine. I need it for the
Nefarious reasons.
yeah, well, reasons I can't discuss right here. But inside said bomb is obviously Fallout. Imagine that. But with that is a code for Fallout 1, Fallout 2, Fallout Tactics, Fallout 3 Game of the Year, and Fallout New Vegas complete. With all the DLC, with everything else that you would need. Pretty much everything Fallout up until the upcoming release of Fallout 4, which, as you may have guessed, I'm a little excited for. With the help of Nick and some of the guys here, we're going to be hosting a giveaway on the official 4Player Network community forums, which they can find on www.4playernetwork.com.
You got it.
Indeed.
And
And
I guess we don't really know what the specifics of it are going to be, but we're going to figure that out.
we're going to
gonna
figure
get it
something
up.
out. And so, yeah, once again, you're not having the bomb, so don't ask about the bomb. But you are going to get
All
all
those
the
games.
Fallout
I want to
games.
know more about the bomb.
I can't tell you
Can I
anything else
have the
about
bomb,
May
Jack?
I have the bomb?
Anyways,
But yeah, so there's gonna be a giveaway for what's gonna be like five games, all ready to go, all compatible with Steam, runs on all the latest and greatest hardware, all just in time for Fallout 4. So yeah,
if you want
why
to get your
not?
hands on those games for free, I would say by the time if you're listening to this at home on your iPod or what have you,
iPad.
it's probably the details will probably be up by now. So check
Yeah.
out the site at 4playernetwork.com for the details, and you'll be getting that just in time for Fallout 4. And with that, I think we're gonna wrap up the bump spot and get back to the podcast. The bomb spot.
The bum spot. The bum spot.
don't think they heard that.
I don't think they heard that. Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, welcome back to the podcast. Brad, before we move too far, I would just like to also say one thing I forgot to say about Assassin's Creed. The soundtrack is done by Austin Wintory, and it's fucking great.
What business does an elf, a man, and a dwarf have in the Riddermark? Sorry.
God.
I could recite the whole trailer.
I bet you can. You apparently watch it
Speak quickly.
every day to me. All right. Jack.
Nicholas.
Hello, Jack.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Excellent. And yourself?
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
What have you been playing? You've been
I've
playing
been playing
a
a
lot of things.
hodgepodge of games. I haven't stuck to one. I said I was going to start Yakuza, but I haven't quite got around to that because I know that's kind of a commitment. I'm really just trying to kill time before Fallout 4. And so I've been jumping from Skyrim, which I've heavily modded, and I actually forgot how good that game can look and how good it is just in general. So I've been playing a lot of Skyrim. I've been playing some Fallout. I've been playing some Fallout 1, which is very dice rolly, but it's still pretty cool. All the same.
Get the water chip.
And what else are we playing? What else are we playing? I've been playing a whole bunch of things.
TimeSplitters?
But the main one that I've been playing a lot of is TimeSplitters, particularly TimeSplitters 2, which I have often said is probably the best local multiplayer game ever made. And I even tweeted, I said, what other game, right? 126 characters, 45 arcade missions, 16 multiplayer modes, 21 challenge modes, 10 story missions, and over like a dozen maps. On a PS2 game with a map editor, which is actually really, really good, that you can, create your own shit with. And it, control-wise, it hasn't held up. Brad and I were talking a lot about controls.
Neither has the original GoldenEye.
No, and obviously, anyone who's familiar with TimeSplitters will know that it's kind of a bite-off of GoldenEye as far as controls go. Even so much so as the first mission is, takes place on a dam, and it's very GoldenEye. But
It is.
But what this
the
game,
weapons look exactly the
but
same.
what this game does have in spades is humor and charm, and it's something that the whole series has had. But Future Perfect is a better game control-wise, but TimeSplitters 2, it has all the charm. It's the best
They're such
in the
funny
series.
games.
It's a fun, light-hearted series, and the story levels in particular. I mean, like we were talking earlier, they're harder than I remembered them being, and there's just so. There's so much variety. Like there's that one mission where you gotta like stalk that one chick, and you got like just the GPS and stuff. It's pretty goofy.
Oh yeah,
It's pretty goofy, dude. But
Oh my god, even the dam looks like
exactly.
the
I
dam.
told you, it's like it's a bite off of
my God.
GoldenEye.
It's like
Okay.
the fucking HUD with
Yeah,
the,
the HUD with
For
helm.
a long time, the original GoldenEye was like one of my favorite games.
But this
Ever.
is, but to me, TimeSplitters the story mode isn't why I like TimeSplitters. I play the story mode to unlock the shit that makes me play the multiplayer.
It's got the
I
best
put
multiplayer.
so many hours in this goddamn game when I was growing up, and my best friend who I grew up with all until I moved. He would come around every Friday and we would play TimeSplitters. No joke, pretty much every single weekend he'd come over and we'd just do couch
that-
co-op. It's the best couch
that was me
couch
in
co-op
GoldenEye.
experience I think that's around there.
Except for-
yeah, I'm doing some weird shit with the gun
Dude,
right
I
now.
fucking hate. Oh
It's-
my god,
the aiming is pretty abysmal.
Going back to try and play the original GoldenEye,
It's impossible.
It's like it's. I had the
It's so
exact same
twitchy.
thing. I was like, oh my
It's
god,
very twitchy. Everything wants to recenter itself.
yeah,
So-
that's the worst part. That's why you can't play with the mouse.
whoever thought that was a good idea? Oh my god, that was back when we only had one analog stick. So, well,
No,
this was
no, it's
PS2.
PS2.
I'm sorry, I'm still thinking of
But
N64.
apparently, I mean, I've not played it on this platform, but apparently the best platform to play it on is GameCube. And I don't know if there's any particular reason as to why, but
I don't know. I mean,
the aiming is going to be an issue on all platforms. I mean,
because everyone had 4 controllers.
Now,
if
everyone
you-
likes to talk shit about controls and stuff, and yeah, there's a lot of games that do have bad controls. However, I never find myself not being able to accustom myself to them. Like, as bad controls can be sometimes, I can get used to them pretty quick, I think.
This is hard.
It is. And you...
Because
And it's not like the game is easy.
it controls.
No,
unlike,
the game is very difficult. I mean, especially, not so much in the story mode, but especially when you get into the arcade challenges and you set it to frantic, and you've got like 16 people running around a relatively kind of small map with very maze-like design. Oh, the maps on this game,
The
dude,
thing is, it
fucking
is
great.
so. The maps are fantastic. Like the controls for as far as like a shooter goes are so far flung from like
Look at that.
what
You
we're
have to be
used
so precise.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of forgiveness with it, but not too much. There really isn't.
It's really finicky.
But the amount of content on this game is legendary. It's brilliant. Now, a lot of people like to give the give the title of best in the series to the next one that came out, Future Perfect. And
Is there a TimeSplitters game that doesn't control like this?
TimeSplitters Future Perfect.
Future Perfect
is it
still
does it control like a modern shooter?
Future Perfect.
it doesn't control like
It doesn't control
Halo.
like this. It doesn't control like GoldenEye. It controls quite modern.
It's still kind of like
It's so rough.
pre-Halo combat.
It's much
evolved
more. If
console
anyone
shooter.
is really interested in getting into the TimeSplitters series, absolutely start with Future Perfect.
I agree with that.
It's
it's
the
just
most-
a shame because this
This is the best game in the series. It really
Future
is.
Perfect-
Future Perfect's fantastic.
Or, I mean, TimeSplitters 2 is great. I do really have a lot of fond memories about Future Perfect, though. And I think the story was really good in it. It did have a lot of that charm. But you're right. As far as the co-op multiplayer goes, TimeSplitters 2 was.
And I mean, I feel
where
the
it was
focus with Future Perfect's multiplayer non-story stuff was with online. Obviously, Xbox Live was just kind of kicking into gear. PS2 even had its online component, and so that was kind of like the main focus for Future Perfect, I feel. And I don't know, Future Perfect it introduced something as insignificant sounding as adding blood. It sounds really weird, but it took a bit of the charm out of it for me. And it's not a bad game. It's a great game. It controls far better than this one. But yeah, I find myself always coming back to this one. Maybe out of nostalgia, but I've put countless hundreds amount of hours into this game. There is so much to unlock, and it is fun. Once you get used to that control, if you can get past that barrier, there is not a better couch co-op game out there.
This is also one of the last games that you could. It's one of the last shooters I remember that you could have a lot of fun with bots because they have so many creative, fun modes.
Yeah.
You know, like they set up all these cool challenges and stuff.
the monkey fights or whatever, where you just had a bunch of
It's so
monkeys.
fucking. It can get so insane. Like the best multiplayer mode I think on this game is Virus. I don't know if you remember what Virus is.
For sure.
It's it's essentially like tag, except you can't, once you've got it, it's a last man standing kind of thing. You can't shoot them or anything like that. You just got to touch them to get them infected, and then the last person standing wins, obviously. But it creates for such insane situations. Like the maps will be greatly well designed anyway, but the level of mayhem on this series is great, and the amount of customization. Like you can set. You can have an arcade game where you can pick your own weapons that you want across everyone, the amount of bots, the amount of, what kind of characters there are. There's just so many variants and things you can adjust.
It's very much an evolution of the stuff they were doing on the 64.
I mean, I went on about, what do you mean, like, with 64?
With the multiplayer option.
Okay, like with the local co-op, or local co-op and local just split screen. It's I still enjoy it. I don't even know why I decided to pick it up recently, but I mean, some of the footage I've got, I mean, I was kind of annoyed because I'm playing this on a PS2 at home. Obviously, when I come over today, I played this on Brad's PS3. I couldn't get the footage I wanted to get because this is one of those games that you've got to pretty much play through the story in order to unlock the maps and all this kind of stuff. But the challenge modes are excellent. Like, I mean, they'll just be like mini games that, for example, you run around that dam level that you saw earlier, except you're only armed with bricks. So you just got to like brick every window, and so it's in a certain time limit. It's not difficult stuff, but it's just lots of activities. There's a lot to keep you busy.
So many activities.
So here's
There
the
is.
real tragedy, I think. It's that the people who made this game are still kind of around. We're actually working on the new Homefront game.
Yeah,
right?
that leads into my 4-player minute.
and what's frustrating is because it's hard to go back to these games because of the controls, with the exception of maybe being future perfect. But they're also just old standard def games. This is the kind of thing where if they made a TimeSplitters now, they could have all the things that made those games great, but have like a really nice modern control scheme.
And online TimeSplitters 2 be fantastic.
Oh,
if they change all the controls and where it's much more accessible, much more
TimeSplitters
modern.
HD collection with new
But-
controls.
But you've heard of TimeSplitters Rewind, right?
Yeah, I've heard.
And that's actually come along very good. It's basically, if you're not sure what Rewind is, it's essentially a fan-made game with the approval from Crytek UK to use that name, TimeSplitters, and where they're essentially making all the maps from all the previous games combined with all the multiplayer modes, everything in one game for free. And it's a fan mod community. They're doing it, and they're making great progress with it too, like impressively so.
Are they modernizing the controls?
They're making everything modern.
Yeah.
Fan
But
fucking tastic.
keeping the aesthetic, the charm, everything else like that intact.
I know
it's
we're
gonna be
talking
brilliant.
about. I know we're talking about TimeSplitters, but goddamn, it is a crime that GoldenEye hasn't had like a 1-for-1 remake with
But
modern controls.
would you
I
want it
thought
to?
they
though?
had.
No, like dude, that remake. That's not a remake. That is a reimagining of GoldenEye.
No, I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about. Didn't it come out to Xbox Live Arcade, or was that just
No,
Perfect Dark?
That's Perfect Dark.
But you don't really hear anyone talking about this series anymore, and it's sad because it really was, I think, like the absolute best.
Who owns the? I mean, I guess who owns the?
Well, it was made by Free Radical, which made the first TimeSplitters 1 through 3. Actually, the first
still
one was a
have it,
launch
yeah.
title for the PS2, but Free Radical turned into.
Crytek.
Well, before that they made Haze, so then they got bought
Oh.
out, and then they made Crytek UK, which are now Gambuster Studios, which are working on the new Homefront game
Yeah.
instead of TimeSplitters 4, which
made-
everyone wants.
Yeah, oh my god.
I mean, now more than ever, with as popular as online plays and shit. I mean, you wouldn't even need the couch co-op aspect of it. I mean, it'd be very nice, obviously, but they would get TimeSplitters Rewind could get away very easily with just being an online game with the gameplay style, aesthetic, everything of the previous, well, the first 3 TimeSplitters games, and it'd be fantastic. And as it's free as well, hell yeah. I mean,
they also
it's
made
really,
Second Sight, which was pretty cool.
that was pretty good. Is it? I mean, I remember playing that back in the day, very little, but
It was no psyops, but it was cool.
I know I put so many hours into this goddamn game, and I don't know what made me want to pick it up again, but I would love to play this 4-player on like a big CRT TV. That'd be fucking
I
pimp.
mean, we
On a
did it.
CRT?
We did it for
Absolutely.
like open game night or something. It's hard to do that.
It is.
Yeah, it's
It ain't easy.
rough. You forget how much they like kind of simplify the graphics when they're doing split screen.
Yeah.
It's hard to look at.
I know it's obviously just a nostalgia kick, but I still get great enjoyment from this series. Just playing through like
Maybe
the
we should.
absolutely crazy
I
mini
emulated
games.
it.
Maybe we should
Perfectly.
put this on maybe after we do our first revival club. Maybe we should be one of the options.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind playing I've never played a TimeSplitters game.
Maybe we'll do.
You'll have. I think you'll tap into your GoldenEye nostalgia. a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit, but-
I'm.
But it's just a
joke.
fun series. I mean, there's just so much to do, dude. Especially on the challenges. Like there's one where you're just this circus freak guy in the middle of this little ring of fire, and you've just got to fend off zombies and shit. It's silly stuff, but like on Future Perfect, the first challenge mode I tried was I was in this very small kitchen, and I had a needle gun, and I just had to last as long as I could against a wave after wave of cow corpses. It was really weird. Like
Cow corpses.
yeah, it was just really, really strange, dude.
It sounds brilliant.
But no, it's goofy, it's fun, it's very lighthearted, it doesn't take itself seriously, and if you can get past the controls, you will have a great time with this game. And,
Well, I wanna
and
play
Future
it.
Perfect.
Maybe I will.
You
one
could
day.
probably get away. Definitely, you wouldn't need if you don't need to play the first one. Absolutely.
I would either start.
no,
I
absolutely
honestly, I would probably start with Future Perfect just for the sake of making sure.
Accessibility, absolutely.
All right, we need to get onto the news here pretty quick, but I know Crispy wanted to bring up a game, right?
Oh yeah, I was just going to mention that I finished Tales of the Borderlands.
The last episode.
The last episode, episode 5.
Crispy.
The Vault of the Traveler.
Crispy, I want you to be honest with me.
Yeah.
Game of the year.
Dude. No, but it's probably going to be on my list.
Don't say too much about it. I just completed the first episode.
It's so good. It's so good. I mean, and it kind of just gets better from there. The first episode's really good.
The first episode was much longer than I was expecting. It's like my playtime's like 2.5 hours on it.
Yeah, they're all
Like
about
crazy.
that. They're all about that. 2-3 hours. Definitely has taken over as my favorite Telltale game.
Damn.
Maybe one of my favorite like point and clicks that I've ever played. It is just charming as fuck, and like
Play like
those
a
characters. I mean, by the end of it, like there were some emotional things that were happening, and like if you watch the feed, I'm kind of like doing one of these numbers because like I was crying. Like it.
You
it
was
fucking-
crying?
Yeah, I was crying. Like,
oh my
it was,
god, you're a girl.
yeah, it was moving. It was touching. It was hilarious. Everything. Oh my god, everything.
You haven't
about
even
that
played
game
Life
was,
is Strange.
Yeah, I haven't gotten past the first episode of Life is Strange.
No,
I need to finish that before the end of the year.
What about King's Quest?
They haven't released another episode.
Yeah, they're taking their sweet fucking time.
Yeah, but that was really dense. King's Quest was awesome. The first episode of King's Quest was great. I cannot.
I really
wait
liked
for
what I
the next
played of King's Quest at E3.
one. But
Maybe I'll try
God
that.
damn, Tales of the Borderlands. If I haven't said it enough, I'll say it again. Even if you're not a Borderlands fan, consider trying it out because it is fucking great. It is so good. It's so good. And
I kind of want to play it just to see what the hell you're talking
Yeah.
about.
the way they wrap it up, like the way they wrap everything up was like super satisfying. I was hoping it was going to be. I was kind of expecting to be disappointed, but like they left the series in a state where I was like,
Is this gonna
obviously I would love them to do another one, but even if they don't, like that was.
Is this going to be a one-off, or do you think they're going to do another season?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about possibility of a second season.
I'll definitely agree
Borderlands
with.
is a popular IP.
I'd agree with Crispy. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Borderlands anyway. I like it has great potential. I just never got into it. But
Yeah.
Tales of the Borderlands, like my girlfriend was watching it. We play it together, and she doesn't know anything about Borderlands. And I kind of say there's going to be a few references to characters and names of companies and stuff. But
But you know what's interesting is like
she picked up on it very quick.
you talk about these references to characters from other games. Like there are characters that show up like Athena from Borderlands the pre-sequel. Who, if you've only ever played Borderlands the pre-sequel, she's like a player character. Like I don't like what little I played a pre-sequel. Like I didn't really get anything out of her, but her in Tales of the Borderlands is awesome. Like and it is giving me an appreciation for characters that even if I had played the original source material, I probably wouldn't really like.
Good writing. Good
You know,
writing.
the writing is fucking
Yeah,
solid.
What about Claptrap? I love that little guy.
I did not see a second of Claptrap in the entire thing.
Really?
I swear to God.
Oh,
now
shit.
I
I think he's pretty funny.
there's some spoilery stuff in 5, but like Claptrap. If you don't want to see Claptrap, you do not at all
There you go.
whatsoever.
But you can see Claptrap.
It's a really good game, you guys.
All right.
It's a really.
I'll take that.
I want to hear about
I love the
Manhunt.
music. I love the
Okay,
music on that game
people want to
too.
hear me talk
Oh
about
my
Manhunt.
God.
Talk about
the
soundtrack is
The
pimp.
intros to every
Yes.
single episode are incredible. And the newest one was like.
The soundtrack is
I've
really
been listening
fucking
to all 5 of those intro songs like in my car. In the
I know
week
what you're
since
talking
I've
about,
played,
man.
but yeah.
Man, that makes me
There
wanna
ain't
play
no rest for the wicked. Yeah.
Wrong game. All right, I'm gonna talk about Manhunt for just a moment. I
Gorgeous.
played this last night for horror week. I don't know. Is this a horror game? I don't know. I kind of thought it was gonna be scarier than it was.
What does that mean? This is a horror game.
You know what the greatest
I
thing
hate
was?
that talk. Is
You-
Saw a horror movie?
You know what the greatest thing is? I think Jaeger suggested that I play this because I was trying to think of a horror game to play for Horror Week that I haven't already played. And he was like, "Have you tried Manhunt?" I was like, "No." And he was like, "You know what, Nick? That really surprises me." What does that say about
Because
me?
you like murder.
Do I like murder?
You like murder.
I don't think I like murder. I just happen to like stories that have a lot of murder in them.
You're a murder enthusiast.
It,
You
I'm not a
you
fan
like
of
sweet
murder.
kills too. This game is dark as shit.
I know this game. This whole. I mean, it's also
wait,
bright.
what version is this?
This is. I downloaded it on PS3. It's a.
So it's the PS2 copy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I say, this does look very dark. I'm a fan of this game. What can I say? I like killing. I like
let
killing
me get this out of the way. I
Can't argue with
I love the concept. I was like really
Hunting
excited.
men.
I was. God damn it! Right? I was very excited to play this because it's a Rockstar game, and it's not GTA, and it's about murder.
that. Why aren't you murdering that guy?
Because this is the only mechanic in this game. The only way to kill people without getting the shit kicked out of you is to sneak up on them very slowly and wait for that little icon to turn yellow or red, and then press the button to kill them. If you don't do that, they turn around and they see you, and then you just wail on them with a bat until they fall over and they're dead. That is the only mechanic in this game.
This is an old game.
That is the only mechanic in this game.
But it's
You didn't
satisfying.
play
dude.
that
They
far.
take
though. Maybe
Manhunt
they-
very
People in
seriously.
chat were telling me that's the mechanic.
Yeah, but it's all about
Okay.
what you're fighting,
Sure,
the level design.
Sure. I only played for about 2.5 hours, and it didn't really blow my skirt up. But
This is
That's the second time I've heard that phrase today.
This
Stop
entire
wearing
game
skirts.
is like the fight in Arkham City with Iceman. What's
okay,
his name?
here's my problem.
Brad?
Here's my problem. It is an old game, so take that, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I'm not trying to be unnecessarily harsh on the game because it is an older game, but because that is the only mechanic really, so you would expect like the satisfaction comes from doing these like crazy kills, right?
Yeah.
Every single weapon has 3 stealth kills you can do. And they're not contextual. So like if a guy turns and he's like facing a slightly different direction and you push the button, it doesn't do a different animation. It has a green, yellow, and red state. If you hold it longer, they get more vicious. So if you manage to hold on to the red until the icon turns red, you'll do a really brutal kill, right? Great. But you also get point incentives, like you get rated based on your performance and whether or not you perform these like really difficult stealth kills. So you're obviously always trying to go for the most brutal stealth kill you can get, which means you're gonna see the same fucking animation over and over and over again. And I played for 2.5 hours. I only got like 3 different weapons. I got a crowbar, a bat, and a shard of glass. Oh, sorry, and a plastic baggie. Which
Plastic baggie, like a sandwich baggie?
Yeah,
Yeah, and you just like try to shove it.
you shove it over their mouth and you suffocate them, whatever. And there are disposable weapons that you can only use once. Once you use it, they throw it away, which is like
pretty
plastic
quickly,
bags.
don't they?
All I'm saying is,
The novelty wears off after seeing the same animation, so on and so forth. Yeah.
and I'm sure there are more weapons. In fact, right before I rage quit last night, I got a nail gun, which I had to shoot a dude in the face 3 times for him to go down.
They're just nails.
the guns don't have any execution.
You know what animation got old? Dexter slicing the dude's cheek. Same animation over and over again.
Shut up, troll.
That's so polite.
My point is, there's really only one mechanic in this game, and if you fuck up a sneak attack, which is really easy to do,
If you're you.
dude, it's fucking easy to do because
No.
you can be sneaking up on a dude, and there's no indicator at all as to when he's gonna turn around, and I can sit behind a dude waiting for it to turn red because that's what you want. You want it to turn red.
Why are you waiting for it to go red?
You get more points for doing that, and they
Do you give a shit?
dude. What game should I give a shit about points and which one should I? Like
Manhunt.
fucking Bayonetta. I'm sitting here and complaining about.
I have an answer for you.
What?
Only care about rating when it ties back into the game's economy. Like if you buy skills or
sure.
loot with it, that's the only time you care about rating.
I agree, but if it's not going to do that, I'm sorry. If they're not going to do that, it shouldn't be in the fucking game at all. Because I naturally I see points and I want to go for higher points. So I'm sitting here waiting for it to turn red, and there's no indicator as to when they're going to turn around. And it could be in the middle of yellow, and then they turn around, and it fucks me up, and then I just end up.
You can like do it a slight second before, but no, you're right. Like you don't know, but then it's just classic service, enemy patterns, you know. But I mean, and the game is very basic. I mean, no one's ever gonna like tout it as.
I'm not trying to like shit on it because I think it's a really interesting concept and it has a hell of a lot of potential. I just think it was way before its time.
The concept is a lot darker than the actual.
If they
game
made this
itself.
game today, holy
Oh
shit!
no, the game looks kind of dark. I can't tell what's going on.
I'm trying to frantically beat
Oh, you
this
should
guy
play.
with a
You should
bat.
play the Wii version of Manhunt 2. Then you won't know what
Manhunt
the
2's
fuck's going on.
terrible. I hear.
The worst
fucking
the
Nickel,
worst
I
part
think.
about it is, and this is
Yeah,
not really
I've played through
surprising.
Manhunt 2.
This is not really surprising because it's a Rockstar game, I guess. But like the moment you fuck something up and you're in like regular combat, it's terrible.
it's shit.
It's fucking terrible.
Sounds like GTA.
You can
Fucking
get by.
terrible.
You can get by with one guy fighting you, but more than one, they just bully up on you, and you know you best just run.
So there's 2 things I want to say about this game before we move on. One, I'm really disappointed because the one reason like I really wanted to try this game is because I always hear about the Pigsy level. There's
like
a
the
famous
last
level.
level.
You're being chased by this dude in a pig mask, and I guess his dick's hanging out or something, like something crazy. I don't
You don't
know.
really say, but it's the last
Like
level.
it's a crazy motherfucker ass chasing you around, and you can put on a headset, and if you like breathe too loudly, he will hear you and he'll come after you. Like that sounds fucking amazing, but apparently it's the very end of the game, and I would have to suffer through hours of this, which I just couldn't stomach. But the thing that made me quit the game early, because I would have gone longer, I would have played more of this. The camera is abysmal.
Why do you have such a problem with the camera?
Dude, the camera is so bad. It's gonna go down in history as one of the worst cameras I've ever played with. I can't.
It doesn't look that bad.
No,
Dude,
it's,
That's
Have you played Ninja Gaiden?
the
2?
moment you like press up against a wall, and then you're waiting for a dude to turn around, and then he turns around. And you're like, okay, press the button to like unstick from the wall. The camera goes crazy, and I'm trying to like turn around and like find the guy. And by the time I get the camera centered where I'm going, he's already gotten to a point where he's about to turn around again, and then he sees me and beats the crap out of me. And not to mention, if you swing your bat too early and you're like not within like a certain range of them, like
It'll do a
they
regular
hear the sound of the
Yeah.
bat swinging and they turn around and they fight you, and the fighting is just, the combat is not good, and that sucks because I think the game has a ton of potential. I think it's a really cool concept. I love the idea of like this director in your ear kind of talking through the whole process, but I think that's a missed opportunity too, because while he is literally directing you throughout the entire game, because I mean basically the concept of the game, and I forgot to mention this, is it's like a giant snuff film, and there's a guy, you're an inmate who was scheduled to be executed, and instead of executing you, they kidnap you and they sell you into this like
like the Running
this
Man.
like Running Man
Yeah.
like snuff film, right? And there's this guy on an earpiece talking you through the whole thing, and I feel like that's a missed opportunity too, because literally all he does is tell you verbally where to go, instead of like doing. I was expecting there to be like cool moments where it's like he's like telling you to wait, do exactly what I tell you right at the right moment, and he won't see you.
You know the
Like, that
voice
kind of-
actor for the
like from the
You know the voice actor of the director?
yeah, he's
is Abbott
from the
in
Bourne
yeah.
movies. Yeah.
You know who you
And he
should
was the
play?
original Hannibal Lecter as well.
yeah.
In an
yeah.
effort to move on, you know what you should have played, Nick? The second Suffering game. You never played that.
You know what's funny? I was playing this, and something I saw reminded me of The Suffering, and I instantly was thinking to myself, I should have played The Suffering, because I love The Suffering, and
That's a good
You
game.
never played Ties That Bind.
I own Ties That Bind, but I've never played it.
Oh man, why didn't you play that?
I don't know. Fuck God. Is there any other opening I could play this, Brad? I want to play. I want to play
yeah,
some
maybe.
Suffering, although I have no idea how I'm going to play it.
Yeah, we'll find some time. Saturday, what are you doing?
Moving.
Oh, well. And Friday, you're busy.
Maybe
maybe you won't, Nick.
Anyways, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people like have a soft spot for this game and they like it a lot, and I see why. It has a lot of potential, but man, it's hard to go back to.
The
It is-
environments can get pretty creepy later on.
the environments are like,
But then it turns into a shooter like halfway through though.
and that doesn't sound
It controls fair. I mean, it's a
honestly,
third-person shooter.
the time when I like the best controls I had the entire time I was playing this was when I got the nail gun and I pulled up the aiming reticle and I was just walking around like moving and shooting.
Well, there you go.
If I could play the whole game like that, but then you can't do stealth kills because the guns have no stealth kills.
They do on Manhunt too.
Remember when Condemned became a shooter and it sucked, and you're like, I don't understand. These guys made Fear.
Dude, I love Condemned. Shut up. Shut up. Anyways, let's move on. We have a lot of news to cover and we're running a little late. So
A little late.
we're running a
Always
little
running
late.
late.
Brad,
Oh yeah, let's quickly run down some of the stuff that they talked about at the Paris Games Week. It was kind of a big Sony press conference where they showed off a lot of stuff, including so I know Chris Davis has little screen thingies, but so we'll open with the one that I want to talk about most, and that's the gameplay footage for Wild. But I have a list of other stuff too that we'll kind of throw in
this
here.
looks cool, man.
So this game, Wild, it's the Michel Ancel game. He's the guy who created Rayman and Beyond Good and Evil, and at one point in his life, Beyond Good and Evil 2, he was working on. But now he's working on this indie game called Wild, and they showed a trailer for it last year, and a lot of people were like, wow, this game looks really cool, and no one knew what the fuck it was because you're like a wolf or a bird, and it didn't make any sense. Well, now there's some gameplay footage, but more importantly, some talking heads kind of explaining how the game works.
It looks cool, man.
And it looks cool. It's like an open world game, and you play like this shaman dude who can like go into like the spirit of animals, and like the different animals, they like do things, and you could ride a bear, and I think it looks really pretty.
And you can ride a bear.
And I don't know, what do y'all think?
Dude, it's like Far Cry
super excited
Primal
to play
in third
this.
person.
As soon it's not, like if you can like what I'm really hoping with this game is that like any animal you can jump into, like you can
I
take
mean,
over their
imagine,
spirit.
why not? I mean, that's your nature pretty much, you know?
I mean, like if you have the ability to like take over different animals and use different abilities, like that could be really cool. Like the example they show in the footage is he takes over like an eagle and he can spot like snakes in the grass, and he swoops down and grabs a snake, and then he carries it back to the shaman, and the shaman uses that for a ritual to like summon this
Summon
like
a
giant
spirit
snake
god.
woman.
Yeah.
Like that looks fucking
So
cool.
so what is the actual point?
We don't know.
Well, I think he's trying to summon all these various spirits, and I know at some point he comes across of like a camp of cannibals or whatever, and he totally just fucking he summons
rides a bear.
Well, first he like summons a swarm of like birds to attack them, or he controls the birds, and then he switches back or whatever to his bear. He's riding the bear, and he's just fucking mauling these dudes while riding the bear.
He literally rides a bear into battle against
Yeah.
cannibals.
Where else can you do that?
Nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very common to ride a bear. And he said the word vehicle when he was describing the bear, which is cool because it sounds like you're going to use nature as a means to kind of travel around this big open world. And in the first trailer they showed like a woman riding this giant bird. So I'm hoping that you're eventually going to get to the point where you're going to be able to like ride a flying bird because open world games don't have enough flying.
I'm really excited for the potential. Like I like the like the mystical nature of it too. Like that was really cool seeing it, like the snake turn into this like giant demon woman and like having the conversation.
Yeah.
Like that was really fucking cool. I want to see more of that stuff too. I think it's just this really cool like
Large
blend of
chest
like
ahead.
it's like this really cool blend of like beautiful like real world nature and then like this mysticism I think is really neat.
So this kind of looks like a more interesting Far Cry Primal.
Yeah, I mean, this might be kind of what we want from Primal, but Primal might end up being just like a Far Cry game.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't know much about Primal, but this looks cool.
It does.
Real quick though, some of the other things they mentioned. I don't know if I know yours is a news topic, so we'll do that one last. But I would quickly like to mention some of the other stuff they showed. They showed off some new Horizon footage, which I thought looked pretty cool. I think that game's going to be pretty cool.
Dude,
Fucking
that is
sick.
still my most anticipated game of
the-
2016.
So
Crispy and I
pretty.
were just talking about the enemy design on that. Looked pretty damn
Yeah.
cool. Like, it
Yeah.
actually looked really alien, like he was saying.
Yeah, just these weird concepts and shapes. Like the animals all look like something out of like a '60s like sci-fi novel
Yeah.
about strange other worlds.
Like a
and
War of
shit.
the Worlds or some shit.
Yeah, they're very very.
They
cool.
keep calling that game an RPG. I have a feeling it's probably going to end up feeling a lot like Shadow of Mordor, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But I
like an action game with RPG elements.
yeah, and they even use the words RPG elements.
So I'm
in
super
that
excited for
video.
Horizon for the simple reason that I really think that Guerrilla Games can actually make a really good game. I just don't think they've made it yet.
Another thing they announced. Oh, they actually showed like how a person plays Dreams, the new Media Molecule game, Dreams.
Oh,
Remember we've
yeah.
seen like footage of this, I think, and we didn't really know kind of what it is, but now they're kind of finally starting to show how you experience it, how you play it, instead of just creating.
And there's still more questions.
Or how playing is kind of creating. The reason I think it's really hard to explain is because I feel like it's not that different than Little Big Planet. And I think, honestly, I bet this project kind of started as, well, what if we did Little Big Planet in 3D? Like, that was probably written up on a whiteboard somewhere. But the approach they're taking, it's like they looked at what people made in Little Big Planet. Little Big Planet is something that started out as a platformer. And people made crazy shit with that, right?
Right.
They're trying to create a game where you make stuff, but without the fact that it's a... They're trying to make a game where you create shit knowing that people were probably going to do that. So they're creating tools for people to make whatever they want, but they're not really... I feel like they're not really... like...
They're not getting bogged down with things like rules.
Well, it's that they had
mechanics.
They had limits in the game they're creating into like the creation system when they said, "Hey, we're going to make this platformer, and then we're going to release the tools so people can make their own levels." You start with something like concrete and let people dream. You know,
Right.
you
Start with a
can't start with
firm-
abstract because
Right.
then people just don't know what the fuck.
It's like Legos.
You give them a
need-
foundation and
you
then
need
they
a
build upon it.
firm base of fundamentals.
Yeah.
It's just little blocks and let people create something crazy out of that.
Media Molecule games are always really exciting because I mean they seem to always do something in a really unique and interesting way. The problem is like this is a perfect example, Brad. You're having a hard time explaining it, which is gonna probably hurt it in the long
Well,
run.
I mean,
Little Big Planet.
I can
You watch a trailer of Little Big Planet. You see the pop-up menu come up, and you see him picking like a block or something. You know the gist of how it's gonna play. It's more obtuse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's how in Little Big Planet people would make the levels that are kind of like telling a story with like cool camera angles and like characters, and some of them were just kind of like mood pieces or just experiences. Walking Simulator and Little Big Planet, not actually like platforming and challenges and puzzles, just experiences. I feel like that's the base for what they're going for in this game. Like make your stories now that we've created some more elaborate tools for that. And like the tools themselves look fucking cool. Like the shit they were animating and whatnot themselves looked kind of incredible. I don't know.
I just think they're gonna have a hard time.
Oh
selling
God,
it.
absolutely. I mean,
The marketing is going to be a
They had
nightmare.
a hard enough
Yeah.
time selling Little Big Planet. But
I mean,
that's what's cool about Sony is they kind of
They'll take more chance.
they take chances with more out there ideas instead of just pretending they don't exist like Phantom does. Microsoft dicks.
I'm sorry, real quick. You
Oh,
reckon this was
man.
going to be
I
Little Big
didn't-
Planet 3 before Little Big Planet 3 came to be?
No, I mean, I just think it was Media. I mean, I think it was Media Molecule starting with this idea of Little Big Planet in 3D and kind of going from there as a reaction to what the community made from their previous games. Until Dawn, Rush of Blood.
VR
Oh, yeah.
DLC.
Oh, it's not DLC, dude.
What?
There's gameplay footage. It looks like dog shit. This game is the fucking roller coaster mini game from Final Fantasy VII's Golden Saucer.
It's a fun house.
You're riding on a roller coaster shooting things.
It's
Wait, why
literally-
is it called Until Dawn at all then?
Because Until Dawn was surprisingly successful, and Sony owns the IP, so they're like, fuck it. We're going to do like a little VR spin-off because we're trying to promote our fucking VR thing. And it's just, here's the frustrating part, is the setting is like a really creepy amusement park.
Yeah.
With like fun houses and stuff, and that's the perfect setting for an actual Until Dawn game. And I find it so unfortunate that that idea is wasted.
Well, maybe
on this project.
maybe it'll be
Until
spawned into a
Dawn-
full blown game.
Until Dawn has one very like supernatural element to it. Is this series going to continue that, or are they just going to make it like
Dude.
anthology horror?
I think
whatever
Until Dawn would be
monster
an
we want?
awesome like anthology.
Okay, Nick,
series.
put it
Sure,
this
I
way,
just
Nick.
wish
Like
it
the
was
footage I saw of this VR thing earlier when Brad showed me.
What are they shooting?
He's literally he goes up like a rail, and then some like doors with painted targets open up, like hey, and then like something happens, and he just goes down like this hill. It is literally like being on like a roller coaster rail shooter kind of thing. It's
I bet if you
Golden
were
Saucer.
I bet if you were wearing the PlayStation VR, it'd be pretty.
it'd be pretty
Yeah,
cheesy.
yeah.
Because I will say this: the PlayStation VR, what we played with at PAX, was really impressive.
Hey,
Sony
homie,
always
I'm not
wins.
denying that. They also kind of showed off that dinosaur one, which I guess some people are
That
excited about.
Crytek thing.
The
Yeah.
Robinson thing.
But whatever. I'm not going to talk too much about VR because until I guess that's more of a reality. They showed off some Uncharted
Hey.
4
multiplayer.
multiplayer.
Sorry, you made a pun.
Yeah, no, not intended.
Oh, you made a pun, and then Brad made a pun. What the fuck?
Uncharted 4 multiplayer. This was surprisingly out there.
It looks fucking weird.
There's like crazy power ups and shit.
It looks
What?
fun.
So at first,
Yeah, it's just.
I haven't seen a frame of footage.
hold on.
It kind
Hold
of
on.
looks like Uncharted multiplayer.
At
but-
first, it looked like Uncharted multiplayer with a little bit of The Last of Us, like
Yeah.
faction stuff, kind of in there, like
Yeah.
kind of reviving
Like
people.
the
And I was
teamwork.
like, that was excited. It looked like factions, but with more mobility, like the grappling hooks and zip lines and sliding down like hills and stuff.
Yeah, everyone's like running around and like shooting snipers, and there's a bomb goes off, and it just
You
sounds
can like
cool.
slide down hills and like fight people.
Yeah.
And it seemed kind of cool. But then they started
then it starts
introducing
getting weird.
like crazy power ups. Like, oh, all of a sudden Chloe has the fire teleport ability, and
What?
now she can like turn into fire and teleport across the map, and Nate's gonna throw out a giant totem that when people go near they pass out or something. It gets weird.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It looks like fun as shit, But there are people who are like, yeah, I want my Uncharted multiplayer to be serious.
Well, it's
I want
like-
army fatigues.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like it's taking that like kind of later game supernatural element of Uncharted
And turning them to
and putting it
goofy-
into the
It knows it's not taking itself seriously.
Yeah.
It knows it's campy cheese, and it
And
just
play-
rolling
if they
with
want if they want that shit so bad,
getting
play,
that, like-
play the single player.
it. Play The
that-
Last of Us.
that Indiana
Factions.
Jones shit going. Like,
But I'm glad that it's kind of going like, dude, we can't just do another
can't just
Uncharted
do
and make it like
shooters and
factions.
cover, like,
You know,
It's like we got to deviate from factions, but still including some of the cool stuff from factions. So how do we do it?
I wonder if all this like
This is how.
crazy shit will be something that they're experimenting with for something that Naughty Dog may look into in the future.
Also, maybe it's just them getting it out of their system before they go back and do another super serious Last of Us game.
Well, we know they can be crazy. I mean, they did like Crash, all the Crash games, right?
Yeah.
So they know shit like that.
They also showed off a trailer for Gravity Rush 2, and if you haven't seen that trailer, Nick, highly recommend checking that out.
Which is officially coming to the U.S.
It looks really fucking cool.
I'm pretty excited. Gravity Rush 1 was a lot of fun when I never finished it, but it also felt like a game that like had so much potential. It didn't quite reach it, and it's so cool to see this series being given like
I know,
this treatment.
especially it being a Japanese franchise. It's almost kind of weird that we're seeing it come back on PS4.
I will play the shit out of that.
Why can't we get another Valkyria Chronicles, please?
I don't know, but somehow miraculously we're getting another Nier, which has a name by the way.
In Japan.
Automata.
I hope that's not the North American
I
name
doubt
because
it.
I have no idea how to say
Well,
that.
it's like an automaton.
Automata.
Nier Automata.
Automata. Automata. Yeah. They released some story details, but they're not much. But obviously, I can't fucking wait. Matterfall is a game that they announced. This is the new game from Housemarque. They're the guys that made like Super Stardust HD. They made Resogun. They made
I think it's House Marquee.
Housemarque, whatever. They also made what was that zombie one they made? They made a zombie one.
Dead Nation?
Dead Nation. Yeah. But
Don't
now,
forget Guacamelee.
No, that's not
Bunch
it.
of twin stick shooters.
Wait.
basically.
Who made Guacamelee?
Um,
I'm getting these two studios confused.
oh
no.
Drinkbox.
House Marquee made that. Is that Outland?
Outland. Yeah, they made Outland. as
I
well.
loved Outland. That game is hard as shit.
Yeah. Well, they're making another like action game. I think it might be side scrolling, but it looks like it has some of the crazy effects from Resogun, but it's more. It kind of looks like Vanquish meets Mega Man.
That could be
Meets
cool.
but with like the crazy effects of like Resogun.
I mean, it's
Like,
a
it's all, like,
pre-rendered
voxel
video,
based.
and
It's a
it's
pre-rendered
a
video.
guy like jumping around with this like crazy techno arm that can turn into different weapons, like
You had
shooting
me at
dudes.
techno arm,
But I
Crispy.
don't I don't really get what.
No one, I don't think we
The
know
hell
what
it
it is.
is, like-
But there were some shots that kind of looked like they were from the side. I bet this is going to be a side scroll. I mean, they also did Outland. So
That's going to be quite a big jump for this developer, then, right? If they're jumping into a fully 3D thing, if they do,
maybe. But I mean,
But I mean, seeing
that's
the
a developer
evolution-
you kind of want to see try that.
Exactly. I mean, I'm saying they've done a bunch of titles that have been successful. Maybe Sony are giving them more of a break and be like, hey, see what you can do with this amount of money. And
Well, this is totally off
Hopefully,
topic.
I mean, we've seen that kind of not go that well, like with
trying 3.
Well, I mean, think about like The Order, which these are the guys that made a lot of handheld games. Like, oh, we're finally going to give them a chance, and then The Order's kind of whatever. Another example could be like, remember when the Scribblenauts guys decided to make a shooter, like a 3D shooter,
What it turned out to
where you're
be.
like floating from cover to cover? Remember that game?
What are you talking about?
It was a game for Xbox Live Arcade where it was a multiplayer arena shooter, but you couldn't move. You can only hybrid. It was called Hybrid.
yeah. They talked about it in the Bombcast last week. I was like,
Oh, really?
It's amazing that game came up twice in a week's period, like a week's time.
Yeah, a fucking hybrid. So who knows?
this is
Maybe
to-
this could be Housemarque's
Sorry, you
hybrid.
just got me thinking of The Order. I would love to see a sequel to that.
You know what?
That's
You know what
done
the order
well.
felt like to me? I don't necessarily feel like that was blah because they would be bad at making that game. I feel like Sony was like, we're gonna let you make this game, but we're only gonna give you this much money, and they're like, okay, well that's not a lot of money, but we're gonna push it as far as we fucking can, and that's why it ended up being like a
I bet
4-hour
Sony's
game.
wallet was open for that one. I mean, that's a very expensive looking game.
Yeah, but they probably needed way more money to make a game looks that fucking good, that much bigger.
Maybe
'Cause
they
that,
just
like,
needed some decent gameplay designers. I mean, think about all the stuff they made on handheld. It was all other people's IPs like the God of War games and I don't know.
The premise of the order is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Had some cool moments.
And I guess the big one that people have been talking about is I guess the one you want to bring up, Nick.
David Cage has announced a new game. That's David Cage over at help me out here, Brad. I'm Quantic Dream. Thank you.
He's not. Go ahead.
What?
He's not exclusively directing and or writing.
Thank God.
So it might actually be pretty good.
So we could. Oh, okay.
So there is
Not
actually.
exclusively.
So it might not completely shit the bed by
So
the
there's
third
reason
act?
to actually get excited.
There might be some quality control in here. So the next game from Quantic Dream is called Detroit.
He definitely named the game though, right? Because that name is fucking horrible.
Detroit Becoming Human.
Yeah, no, that's definitely.
I feel like the
Beyond
subtitle
Two
kills it. If
Souls.
it was just called Detroit, I feel like maybe it would be
Yes.
more.
So
I
the
don't know.
whole cyberpunk thing has got me sold already. I'm a huge cyberpunk fan.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a really cool concept. They're basically extending. So if you remember the tech demo they did a few years called Kara, which was like
Which is fucking great.
which was really cool. Which was just showing this like AI girl being pieced together.
It's like
And
iRobot.
she eventually starts to look human, and then this is being expanded out into its own game. Obviously, I have no idea what beyond that what the context is, other than as far as we can kind of tell, she has more awareness than the average.
Sapiens.
She has more awareness than the average
you
like AI.
Have you seen Ex Machina?
Well, that was
Yes,
that was
I have
kinda,
This
seen
is like the
Machina.
continuation
That
of
was-
Ex Machina.
Yeah, that was like the
It
whole
is.
point of the Kara demo was that she was becoming more self-aware.
What
than
if
she
David
should've
Cage saw Ex Machina, saw how it ended, and was like, "I'm
Well,
gonna make that."
Kara came out long before Ex
I know,
Machina.
but like,
didn't have a story
Did Kara
around it,
feature
so-
her walking into public like this? Like, what? if,
No. I mean, that was totally a setup for this. If you remember the end of that
I
video,
do.
it was the guy who was like, "No, this is all wrong," and started taking her apart. And then he sort of just like
felt bad for her.
felt bad, and then he just let the model go
She's
like
like,
that.
no, she was like, yeah, he's like,
He put her
don't
back
you
together.
cause any trouble or anything,
Yeah.
and put her back in the assembly line.
Dude,
So it's hard to look at this game and not think Deus Ex. It really is, especially with the
Well,
name
it's-
Revolution in the name and
Well,
being set in Detroit.
It's
as well.
definitely gonna cover a lot of those themes, but like this whole idea of like that shot right there with like this mob like harassing an android,
Yeah.
like this is kind of dealing with like the politics of artificial life. you
That
know?
was what really interested me most about Human Revolution was the conflict between those who wanted to get augmented and those who didn't, and the
Who,
battle
like,
between
believed
them.
in pure
That was really
humanity.
cool. I like that.
That was cool.
But this game, I mean, it's a David Cage
But this
game.
is
I mean,
this is coming at
It's
the
all going
same.
to look good.
Yeah.
here's my problem. This is what's keeping me from like getting really excited about this. Is that it's gonna be a Quantic Dream game. I feel like I want to see them make something that's other than like something in the same style as Indigo Prophecy and Heavy Rain and Beyond. Like I want to see like a different style of game from like because they've done it 3 times at this
But-
point. Like make it
Yeah, I see
totally
what you
different.
mean.
Like tell this story with a completely different set of mechanics.
It's up to me to
Like
Driving.
like what kind of mechanics?
I don't know, like
Like
a
more
fucking
traditional?
third-person like adventure game where
I
you
mean,
play as a robot.
I feel
The
like you
thing-
can get into trouble if you're not good at that.
The
like
thing about
yeah, but
remember me.
the thing
they
that
weren't
is
really-
exciting about this project to me is the story.
Yeah.
And that.
But were they really
this
good at it
story-
Beyond Two Souls?
Who here played
I
Beyond
didn't-
Two
I didn't-
Souls?
I played it for like 2 hours
Yeah,
and was
I-
like, I think I'm done.
I played like 30 minutes of Beyond, and I was
Hey,
like,
every
fucking
Quantic
done
Dream
with it.
game I actually played through, I liked. So
I mean, I liked Heavy Rain a lot.
I don't know what
like
this is
Heavy
going to
Rain.
be like
I mean,
as a game.
Heavy Rain got shat on more than it should have, but then I watched that video where like they went across all the stuff that was removed and everything else, and it kind of sours your
The thing is,
opinion of
Heavy
it.
Rain I think is great because it's the only game. Unless I'm forgetting something, there's no like supernatural like crazy
No,
bullshit.
but they were supposed to be, which would have made the story make a whole lot more sense.
that dude's glasses was pretty supernatural. The cop.
I guess, but like,
But like the whole
When-
there was a lot more water theme to it
oh,
than
man, I feel like
basically like Ethan was supposed to go in all these hallucinogenic water
I thought-
states.
the thing
and
is,
stuff, swimming
Heavy
and-
Rain was the only game they've done where I feel like it felt grounded and cohesive and like it didn't go off the rails at the very fucking end.
Hey, that scene where you go into that dude's like apartment, who's like this crazy he's like a crazy person.
That
He's like
fucking
quoting religious stuff, and he has a Bible, or you know, remember that scene? You pull a gun
Yeah.
on him. Like I feel like that fucking scene is like better than like as far as like the intense feeling I was feeling during that scene was even better than a lot of this like Until Dawn Telltale stuff that people are that's going on right now. You know, like I think when Quantic Dream really wants to nail a moment, like they're pretty good at it. They go off the rails. The writing's not great. Most importantly, I think they hire these terrible voice actors where English isn't their native language, and I think it really kills it. It just makes it seem awkward and weird and kind of goofy when it shouldn't be goofy. But like as far as nailing certain moments, I think they're really good at it. And I think like that car video was an example of like them doing what they're good at. Like remember the video they showed before Heavy Rain was turned into a game?
Yeah. With the girl
that
in the
was
kitchen.
awkward and creepy, and people kind of made fun of that. But the car thing was good. And if this is a reflection of that, then I think that this could be, you know, Quantic Dream making something that, you know...
No, I agree with you.
...finally nails what they're going for.
Sure, and I hope that's the case.
And this doesn't need Supernatural because it has robots.
I don't think Indigo Prophecy needed a Supernatural, and they did it anyways.
Yeah,
there
there
was
was
still-
cult and stuff. You
That
know?
was like the
But that
whole
scene you were talking about in
conceit of-
Heavy Rain, though, that was, let's be honest, that was ripped straight out of 7. But it was well fucking done. It really was.
killer.
By the way, who is that actress? I've seen that girl before, and
Probably some French girl that we've never heard.
She probably looks like someone out of Until
I've
Dawn.
seen that girl before in something.
I know, the
And I
Quantic Dream can have good direction.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool. It's another exclusive for PS4. I think Sony's gonna have a good year next year. It seems with a lot, assuming that comes
Hopefully.
out.
I mean,
next
they had
year.
a pretty bad one this year.
Like they went from, they're gonna go from a year having not many first party exclusives to having a whole bunch. It seems so. That's kind of exciting. Anyways, was there anything else we want to say about that before we move on? I think we need to do community, but I think all we're gonna have time for
I
is
think
questions.
Dawson looks pretty cool.
Wait, what?
Dawson.
That's not Jennifer Lawrence. I thought it was Jennifer Lawrence too, but at first, but I don't think that's Jennifer Lawrence.
I thought it was Jennifer Lawrence.
I don't think they can afford.
Are you going to get
I don't
sucked
think
into
they
the
can-
whole Tekken 7 thing, or what?
No. Well, I mean, no. I don't. I play Tekken
So-
casually. So
Since we are running a little bit low on time this week, I'm going to do community, but I'm just going to do questions because we have a whole bunch of questions. Is
they're
that
doing Tekken VR.
Yeah.
Tekken 7 with VR support. I don't know how that's supposed to work. You see yourself getting punched in the face a bunch of it.
that'd be awesome. Are we ready for questions?
Wait, no, Chris's story real quick,
What?
Oh, I can do it from
Oh.
4Player.
if you want.
Whatever you want, Chris.
He already put it
Oh,
up.
fuck it! No Man's Sky has a release window! Woo!
I like how he didn't even say date. It has got a window.
Well, it's got
Got
a
a
window.
window.
We're looking at June 2016,
Nine
which
to-
is in so anywhere between 217 to 247 days, 5,208 hours, or 312,000 minutes, 500 or numbers.
You fucked it
Anyway, 217 to 247 days from now.
It's almost a
We
full
will
year.
be playing
What are you gonna get first, that or
No
Star
Man's
Citizen?
Sky. Well, I don't know. Wait, doesn't Star Citizen come out
Never.
ever? Like, when is Squadron 42 supposed
Which
to
one
come
comes out never first? No
What?
Man's Sky.
Have they even
or-
announced that yet?
What?
Like the first like rollouts on
I
the
don't fucking know.
That chick is from The Following?
whatever.
Oh, God. That couldn't be where I've seen her before.
No Man's Sky.
All
There
right.
we go.
Valerie Curry. Thank
We're
you, Scarecrow, for
getting
finding it. I'll find it.
Closer.
Oh, I watched Tales from Halloween. It's an anthology of Halloween horror stories. It's on Amazon, I think.
Thank you for that random update,
So-
Brad.
No Man's Sky. Is it? Do we really know what this is?
No, we're not opening
No,
that
we
can of
can't
worms.
talk about
Okay.
that.
We can't talk about that when Crispy's in the
Okay.
room.
The consensus
Walking-
we came to is it's not a game. We don't know what it is, but he wants it more than anything.
Walking Simulator.
Why is it
with-
not a
I'm
game?
just kidding. I'm just messing with you.
It's a game.
We don't have to talk.
It's a
about
game, but we still don't know what the fuck it is. All right.
To be
Guys?
continued.
It's not levels and checkpoints, if that's what you mean by a game.
All right. It's time for the community. And we're running a little
Spaceships
low
are
on
like
time.
birds.
We're running a little low on time.
Walking Simulator.
God,
It's a
damn you
walking
guys.
simulator with planets.
Can you guys shut your mouth
ahead.
holes for a little bit? All right, thank you. It's time for the community.
It's the community.
Don't do that when Nolan's not here. Nolan is not here, and we are running a little low on time. So we're going to do Chatter of the Week or Support of the Week next week. But for now, I got a whole bunch of questions here from our patrons over at patreon.com/4Player.
Questions.
I'm going to go ahead and run down a few of these, and we'll just see how it
Rattle
goes.
these off. Machine gun them.
Our first question comes from Lazy. I think that's Lazy. With Halloween coming up this Saturday, do you guys have any embarrassing or silly costumes that we have ever worn in the past? I have a really embarrassing one. In fact, when I was getting ready to move, I found photos of this Halloween costume that I wore years ago, and I shredded them. Just to make sure the evidence doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
I've seen that picture
What?
of that Halloween costume. That somebody else we knew had a picture of, and you didn't think he had it, but he did.
Oh, God. You're not going to say it, are you? Does anybody else have an answer?
What was it?
The one I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
You were like Prince Charming or some
Oh,
shit.
yes! It was so bad.
Really?
It was so bad. The things I did, man, never mind. Okay,
You mean the things?
Nothing to contribute to that one.
that was terrible. That was really embarrassing. All right, does anybody else have any? Somebody else has got to have another one. Anybody?
What's
No?
the question?
Does anybody have any embarrassing costumes you've ever had for Halloween?
Ashamed of any Halloween costume I've ever done.
Damn it.
Just
Just me, huh? Just me?
well, I mean, I didn't dress up much as a grown up, but like I had some pretty badass costumes as a kid.
Pretty badass?
Yeah.
That wasn't the question, Brad. That's the exact
I was pretty
opposite of the
disappointed
question.
with my like Rambo mask. That was one of those little plasticky ones.
Y'all are boring.
That one was lame.
Well, one year I went to a Halloween party and I didn't have a costume, and I kind of like last minute went out to a costume store and bought one of those like fucking Ghostbusters costumes, and that thing is shit, and it looked cool, and I felt like an idiot wearing it, and that was probably the worst Halloween.
Wonderful. Still not worse than mine, though. But
No, yours was fucking horrible.
that was pretty bad. All right. Second question comes from Psycho Mantis, and he says, "So you like Suikoden?"
I see what he did there.
I get it. Is there a question? I do.
No, he says, "So
See-
you like Suikoden?"
You pronounced it wrong, writer of this.
Suikoden. All right. Next question comes from Caesar, I think, or Australopithecus. Hello,
dinosaur.
I'm new here. Just one question. Don't know if you've already answered anything like it, but here it goes. If you had to live the rest of your life, mind and body, inside of a particular game, which one would it be? Keep up the good work. Cheers. One game, guys.
Second Life.
Nice one.
Just
Nice.
dicks raining from the skies. Your dream.
Oh, God.
Just weird sex stuff everywhere.
That's not a bad
Well,
one.
I think
though.
we all know the answer to
I mean, all
mine.
your wildest sex dreams can come true.
I mean, I think we all know the answer to mine would be Manhunt. The rest of my life.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Bayonetta? No.
Bayonetta would be an interesting one, but dudes aren't usually very empowered in those games.
Yeah, you'd be more like a submissive.
I'd be cool with that, I guess.
Yeah,
if
me
it was
too.
Bayonetta. What are we talking about?
Next question comes from Gonzo. He said, "Here's a lewd one, or here's a question for y'all." To be
Saints Row. That's my choice.
There we go.
Saints Row 4.
Had to reach deep down for that one.
Saints
All
Row
right.
4.
This question comes from Gonzo, and he says he wants us to be honest. Is having a girlfriend all that it's cracked up to be?
It has its pluses
I'm gonna
and
plead the
minuses.
fifth. I'm pleading the fifth for safety reasons.
Yes.
What's it cracked up to be?
I'd say so. I seem to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I have a lot more free time since I've become single again.
Free time is good.
Free time
So
is
that's nice.
pretty good.
I like free time.
I played more video games.
Right now, I kind of. You know what? No,
But,
I'm not gonna go
You
there.
know, give and take, right?
Give and take. All right. Piost. Do you think broadcasting has ever ruined a gaming experience for you?
Yes.
Alternate question: has broadcasting changed how you play games?
Yes.
Yes. The big example for me, as far as a game experience being ruined by broadcasting, I can absolutely say on multiple occasions, playing Assassin's Creed has been ruined for me by broadcasting it.
Yeah.
Which I took a huge gamble playing Syndicate on the feed. Luckily, it was a mostly positive response. But for someone who really enjoys that game, like being in chat where it's like the instant like knee jerk reaction of the internet is to like shit on something just because it's you know, in the past it hasn't been great or whatever the reason is, like it affects me more than most probably. It drags me down, and sometimes that has on more than one occasion ruined my experience. Anybody else?
Dude, Souls games.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I
fuck
won't
that.
touch a Souls game.
Souls
with a 10
games.
Fuck that,
I will
man.
not touch a Soul
Souls
game
games.
with a
they
10-foot
they
pole
come
on the
out of
feed.
the woodwork for that.
Unlike Crispy,
Oh my god, he must have the memory glitch on the boss. It just seems too easy for him.
that was a good voice. I like that. No, unlike Crispy, who you played Tales of the Borderlands on the stream. I wouldn't like to play. I mean, when I was broadcasting, I didn't like to broadcast story-heavy games.
Yeah.
Because you are distracted. You are preoccupied with making sure the stream's running, chat, this and that. I know it's
Yeah.
harder to pay attention. I mean, Brad, you play a lot more RPGs and stuff. You must notice. It's harder
For
to
sure.
invest yourself
I
and become immersed.
I felt
is what
kind
it
of
is.
bad doing Borderlands because I felt like I was so invested in the story that I was kind of ignoring chat sometimes. So I'm sorry about that. But it seemed like a lot of people who were watching my streams also had never experienced the game. So there were a lot of like really cool things that would happen, moments that would come up where we all got to experience it as a group. And I actually kind of liked that my Borderlands experience was entirely on the stream. I like that everyone got to
maybe
kinda
Borderlands
watch
was a
that.
bad example.
No, but I get what you're I definitely get what you're saying. Where it's like there are certain games that you really like Witcher. Like I cast Witcher once and I hated it because I feel like that game is one that I really just need to get into and just be really
Wait, you're also just sitting around letting people talk at you in the game, and that's
and that's not great.
It's hard to imagine, especially in horror. I would think. I mean, I don't think I played any horror games on the feed, but I'm sure I did. I played Clock Tower 3.
I love playing horror games on the feed because I feel like I'm playing with a room full of people.
yeah.
I find it not as immersive myself.
I can't sit down in my house by myself and play a game like
PT.
no.
Oh,
definitely
God,
not.
no.
God no. And
I can't even play that one.
I like when Outlast came out, I was excited for it, but I can't sit down in my house just for the fun of it and play
Undertale.
that game.
Undertale.
I have to play that on the feed. Like I enjoy playing horror games on the feed because I feel like I'm constantly stopping and just turning to chat and just being like, help me here, guys.
what do I do?
Holy shit.
It's a mixed thing because the games that I'm really, really enjoying, I feel like I want everyone else to see that moment, even if it's a game that people have played. So it's a lot easier and it's a lot more effective than recapping that event. If got a group of people watching, I don't know. It's a 50-50 thing.
It just depends on the game.
Jack
Depends on
played
the
that
mood.
game with the mannequins on the feed. Was that Condemned? I played Condemned on the feed, but no, what you're thinking of is Nightmare House, which is the Half-Life mod. That was fucking creepy. Actually, yeah, I did.
Next question.
I got the willies from that.
Next question from Jaros, I think that's how you say his name. Similar to Halo Legends, if you can give one recent new franchise an animated short film, what would it be? He says his example would be the Evil Within. He would love to see an Evil Within short film.
I should hope we see a sequel to that.
Yeah, dude, that has
game
to,
was so
Short
good.
film.
that has to get a sequel,
I'll say
right?
like The Last of Us, dude.
Last of Us would be cool.
Yeah.
The Last of Us.
Is it done in engine or is it? What is this?
You said like an anime thing, right?
An animated short film, yeah.
I think-
Like Resident Evil has been getting a lot of animated.
I think The
short-
Last of Us would be a good one.
yeah.
If done right.
Oh, I know my answer. Puppeteer.
Puppeteer.
I love the writing and the acting and the personality and the look of that game. I think I just want to watch more cutscenes from that game.
You know what? I'd say
Fuck, man. If Borderlands was a TV show, it would be my favorite TV show.
Oh my god, you're like a Borderlands guy.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
It made you love that
Dude,
universe.
I there was a couple weeks ago I was getting really psyched about episode 4 or something like that, and I just watched on YouTube old episodes again. I was like, I just want to see this fucking story.
Are you
again.
just
It's
gonna
so
start
good.
playing Borderlands 2 DLC?
No, you know what? I actually I rented the
Tiny
Handsome
Tina?
collection and I
Yeah.
started playing Borderlands the pre-sequel, and I played it for 30 minutes and I was like, I hate
This is not Borderlands.
I was like, this is not fun. Like, so I don't know that it's ever gonna cross back over into me playing the main game. But
Catherine.
God damn that story.
Catherine would be good. Someone in chat mentions Silent Hill. Maybe we'll
Until Dawn.
for an animated short film. I kind of feel like maybe DMC. Like if we're never gonna get another DMC game, like not Devil May Cry, but DMC, just because I think the cutscenes were pretty fucking awesome, and I'd love to see that. Like I'd love to see more of those cutscenes.
Enslaved.
Oh, Zelda. I mean, I'm sure that's the thing, right?
Only if
Oh,
he
I'm
talks.
sure.
All right,
Only if
next
he
question.
talks. Last question I'm going to do this week is from Nathan. He says, if you were a ghost haunting something, what would be your gimmick?
Ooh, like if we were a Fatal Frame ghost or something. Like what's our battle gimmick maybe?
I would I would stand in front of urinals and pee with my pants around my ankles.
Or you would be the ghost that, like, when people try to use the urinal, you try to pull their pants all the way down to their ankles.
People are trying to pee, and just like pulling it
Coming
down.
out of the ground, just like, like pulling their pants.
That's good. That's good. Come on, Brad. I fully expect you to have a.
You got me thinking. I saw Ghostbusters at the drive-in. Malia hadn't watched it before.
What?
Nice.
She'd seen a little bit. What kind of ghost would I be? That's interesting. I would just be like, I'd be a ghost that that I would haunt people who were playing scary games, and I would do like jump scares like in their room, but I'd be an actual ghost, so they'd probably just be scared, like for real.
like for realsies?
You're trying to just, like, supplement their horror game experience, but then they're just, like, freaked out by the fact
Yeah,
that there's
basically-
actually a ghost in
Yeah,
there.
well, like the roommate that sneaks up behind the dude playing the horror game to like scare them.
Yeah.
I'd be that, but a ghost, like their ghost roommate.
I would be like, I don't know. I'd be the ghost that moves everything 2 inches to the right. and then after a while, it's just kind of annoying, and they're just moving everything back, and I'm like, ooh.
I'd probably just be the ghost that haunts the Mercury Steam office.
There we go.
You try to.
Now
scare-
we're getting an honest answer out of you. Jack, any
I don't know. Maybe creep up on people that are
would you haunt
at the urinal.
would you haunt a
Look over
Whataburger?
their shoulder or something?
Dude, you know what'd be fucking creepy? Be the ghost that, like, pops out between people's legs while they're sitting on the toilet.
You don't have to be a ghost to do that.
I'd be the ghost that watches people have sex.
I'd be the ghost that puts my face 2 inches from your face while you're sleeping in the middle of the night.
Oh God!
This might be off topic,
Horrifying.
but would you ever willingly buy one of those medicine cabinets where the door is a mirror?
Oh,
Who
dude.
buys those? Why
There's
would
so
anybody
many
buy those?
fucking-
I've got one of those.
There's so
Why
many.
do you have that?
came with
So
the
many
apartment,
gimmicks.
dude.
If someone's closing a medicine
To this
cabinet
day.
and they're in like a side third of the frame, you know some shit.
To this day,
down.
seriously, like on this bathroom mirror that we've got, it's a medicine cabinet. It has a big crack down the side of it, jagged like. It's the
That's cool.
creepiest shit, dude.
That's cool.
I mean, it was like that when I got, I don't know, maybe some like domestic shit happened. I don't know, but it's still kind of creepy, dude.
That's creepy.
That's
on a
fucked
different
up.
level.
Thanks for your questions, guys. If you would like to ask us a question for next week's podcast, you can always check the activity feed of patreon.com/4player. I update it on Sunday night, so you have a whole 48 hours to get your questions in prior to the show. Of course, you do have to be a patron, but you can any amount, any patron level will give you access to ask these questions. So even if you give $1, anyways.
Also, thanks to all the patrons that helped us hit 1K on Patreon.
We did hit
Fuck
1,000.
yeah.
We're very excited. We're very excited for this camping trip. I think it's going to be really cool.
You're all heroes in your own way.
Although I may have
Gotta buy some tents.
got to buy some tents, and we got to figure out who's
You just need one tent and
Sharing
one sleeping
tents.
bag.
Who's tenting?
a little scared. Okay.
Pitching tents.
Anyways, let's go ahead and wrap the show up with the 4-player minute. I think we all know how it works at this point, so I'm not going to explain it. Brad, would you like to start us off?
Oh.
You always start us off, Brad. You knew this was coming.
Oh, I thought we were gonna do chatter for the week, but I was not prepared.
We don't have time, Brad.
I was not prepared. We don't have time.
There's no time.
Man, I don't know. My hype is for Vita games. I finished Lost Dimension, by the way, and only one girl was a non-trader. So at the end of the game, it was 5 dudes and a girl,
No.
and I was really bummed. But
Treacherous women.
Yeah, right. Story of my life. But I'm hyped for whatever my next Vita game is. I just haven't decided. Am I gonna play Persona 4 or am I gonna blast through East Celceta? I don't know yet. But I'm kind of excited, you know? I don't know. My sweat is a little bit for Fallout 4 maybe. You know, it's a game I'm excited about. I want to be excited about, but I get like this Bethesda game fatigue where like I'm so fucking like, I mean, I'm in it. That first 10, 20 hours is just like best gaming ever. And then I just start to fall off, you know? I didn't finish Skyrim. I didn't finish New Vegas, man. I don't know.
They're not designed to be completed.
Well, I mean, one of my favorite games of all time is Morrowind, and I never finished the main story. So like,
That's a hard game to go back to.
Well, yeah. My thank you for the week goes to, I would like to thank all the lovely people on in chat right now for sticking around, being nice and lively. You know, when we're doing these podcasts, that's when chat is usually the most active and present. So I want to thank all of the people who show up for the show. And you should probably show up for some of our other broadcasts that are happening throughout the week, especially this week. We're doing Horror Week. And my fuck you goes to all these Japanese publishers who are not doing anything with their great IP. You know what? I'm going to give a fuck you ahead of time to Sega. They trademarked a new game, a new Valkyria Chronicles title. It's like Valkyria and the Blue something or whatever. I know it's not going to be something that I'm happy about. It's probably going to be like a mobile game. So I'm just going to give a big preemptive fuck you to Sega. Go.
What if it's
yourself.
not, though?
What about a fuck you to Eastern European PC developers?
That's
Yeah.
strangely specific.
Fuck you to
For
poorly
stalker.
optimized games that I can't seem to get to work correctly. But yeah.
Jack?
My thank you goes to you guys for inviting me over tonight. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And yeah, so thank you for that. My hype is Fallout 4 because, I mean, I got the bomb. I got the Pip-Boy edition coming off the PC. I've got the gold edition with comes with the socks and all that bullshit. For
why did it
PS4,
Oh, God.
I got the Dweller Survival Guy thing. I got it all on a fucking bundle and I had money to burn. So I was like, fuck it. And today I booked 2 days off for Tuesday and Wednesday. So I am in like Flynn. I am ready for this game.
I think we shouldn't have
And-
a podcast on that Tuesday.
It's gonna be crazy, dude.
I'm gonna
I
say-
am
I'm
so
gonna say
fucking
it
up.
right now.
And the thing is, it never really hit me until like the last week or so. But I am so fucking hyped for Fallout 4. I just cannot wait. Anyway, so that's my obviously my hype. My sweat is Rise of the Tomb Raider and the idea of possibly buying a pre-owned Xbox One and then returning it after I've completed it.
That's actually not a terrible idea. It's
Well, the sweat is related to the game itself. Also the sweat of tossing and turning with the idea of doing that.
But isn't it pretty easy to return like a pre-owned console?
Well, I was just thinking, like, I mean, I just want to get it, play through the game, blast through it, and then be done with it.
Not that I'm recommending that to everyone. But Jack is a big Tomb Raider fan.
And I want to play it when it's, like, most relevant, you know? And I have no doubt that it'll come out on the computer in January, but I want it now. But at the same time, it comes out the day as Fallout 4.
There is
so,
a 360 version.
I'm gonna be playing. I'm going
Oh, you know what?
playing the 360 version.
You know what? That isn't actually... I forgot all about that.
Because it might be a little framey in combat, but what matter are the puzzles. What little there are there.
Yeah, I just can't wait. I want to play it because I want to bitch about it, to be brutally honest with you. My fuck you, I've got 2 fuck yous. One's to Chris Davis.
Yeah, fuck Chris Davis.
Fuck Chris Davis.
Yeah. yeah.
Corn soda.
No, not that.
Oh.
Not that. Well, that too, actually. There's an extra fuck you to Chris Davis. But yesterday or the day before, whatever it was, and he knows exactly what I'm going to talk about, I asked him out on a friendly date.
Oh,
In chat.
what the fuck is your problem, Chris?
And he turned me down, dude. He's like, I don't got time for that.
What a fucking prude.
In not so many words.
He said, "Ain't nobody got time for that."
And he's like, that's a first I've been proposed in chat. I'm like, well, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go out. And he said no. He said he couldn't make it that night. Well, you know what? That's the only night I had. Anyway, so there was that. So fuck you, Chris Davis.
Oh, bad blood, bad blood.
Booty calls in the middle of the
love
night.
you, baby.
Going wrong.
And the other fuck you goes to Crytek UK, or Dan Buster Studios for working on Homefront: The Revolution, because that's a game everybody's been clamoring about. Because fuck you.
You know who wants that game? You know
we
who
need
wants that
we
game?
need TimeSplitters 4.
You know who
Jack?
really wants that game?
What's up?
Chris Davis.
Jack, is your phone?
Fuck you, Chris Davis.
Is your phone okay?
It'll live.
You threw it rather hard.
He was forceful.
Fuck you, Crytek.
All
Okay.
right, Crispy.
Oh, right. So my thank you for the week I'm going to use to reiterate our thanks to our patron community for getting us to that $1,000 mark. I love you guys. You're all super fucking cool. And even you guys who aren't patrons are still super fucking cool. We got a great community. I love you all.
It's full of love this evening.
My fuck you for the week is to Fallout 4 because I'm not ready. I'm not ready, and it's gonna ruin my life. And I'm in school, so like, yeah, that sucks. My sweat is I'm gonna give it to Detroit becoming human or whatever the fucking
Human Revolution.
Let's just
stupid
call it
subtitle.
Detroit.
Detroit.
Or maybe they should have just called it Becoming
Detroit,
Human.
I'm very intrigued by the concept of the game. I was actually just recently finished reading Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which, you know, kind of the same fucking valley or same, right, like the same wheelhouse. And that was a great story.
Why don't you just watch Blade Runner?
Oh, I did that too. So yeah. But I don't know, the idea of like the distinction between humanity and androids is really interesting, especially in a setup like Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, because normally you'd think it's like emotions is the big difference between a machine and a person, but even in that story, like human emotions are just kind of like a computer program. Like everyone has like machines that they can just dial up whatever very specific emotion they plan to feel. They set up a schedule for the day. So even that like isn't a distinction anymore. It comes down to like much finer, like more minutia, which is really interesting to me. I hope that the story does a good job. I hope it's not like too ham-fisted. I hope that if they're choosing to tell the story in a very narrative like sort of game that all of Quatic Dreams games are, that they do a good job and give it the respect it deserves. And my hype is
No Man's Sky.
for No Man's Sky.
Curveball. Not happening.
Curveball.
217 to 247 days away.
All right, guys. My hype is for Assassin's Creed Syndicate, because you know what? I've only played it for 4 hours and it got its hooks in me. I'm feeling the Assassin's Creed itch again, which I really wasn't even expecting to feel at all this year. So that's cool. I'm excited. I'm glad I'm enjoying it. That's my hype. My sweat goes to I'm drowning in video games right now, guys. I haven't finished Metal Gear. I haven't finished Witcher. I've committed myself to trying to finish one
You
Metal
haven't
Gear.
finished Knack.
Oh my god, how could I have forgotten? I've committed myself to finishing one Metal Gear mission a day, which means I'll probably finish it in about 20 days if I stay exactly at that pace.
Oh, you're got some news for you.
Don't shut up. But I've got Assassin's Creed in my pocket now. I'm playing that, and Tomb Raider comes out next week. I got Halo 5 in the mail today.
Tomb Raider's next week?
No.
2 weeks. Because the same day as Fallout.
The 10th.
Is it the 10th?
2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Whew, that gives me about 7 extra days. And then Fallout, like I don't even got it. My life's over until the end of the year. My thank you goes to all of our patrons for helping us reach our $1,000 milestone. I'm looking forward to talking about some movies. We can do some popcorn casts, especially Spectre and Star Wars, which second hype.
Yeah.
Not so. This is not a secret or anything, but I'm fucking excited for Star Wars Episode 7. Holy crap!
My God.
So I'm sure we'll be talking about that once we've all seen it.
Still getting chills.
Every
time I watch that
every
fucking
day,
trailer.
every day, all the chills. And my fuck you of the week. My fuck you of the week goes to American Airlines.
What?
Fucking American Airlines. I'm never using you again. Fuck you. I had to drive. Long story short, they
Too late.
Long story short, they canceled my girlfriend's return flight home. And they didn't cancel the flight. They canceled her ticket without telling her. No email, no phone call, nothing.
Because they were overbooked, or
No. This is just a tip out there For anyone, some people may be aware of it. Most people probably aren't. If you buy a round trip ticket and you miss any one of the flights on that round trip ticket, they will cancel the whole trip.
Oh.
What flight did she miss?
Long story short, she bought a round trip ticket to Austin and then found out she had a wedding the day she bought her ticket. So it was cheaper for her to just buy a one-way ticket the following day than to reschedule the original flight.
then her return
So she
flight.
took that home, or she took that to Austin the day after. They never told her they canceled the entire round trip flight. And then on Friday, she called to try and reschedule the return flight because she was worried about this hurricane that's been rolling in. And they're like, you don't even have a flight. We had to get into a car a Friday night, last minute, and I had to drive her to Dallas through a fucking hurricane. Literally through a hurricane. I've never driven through weather this bad in my life. To get her to Dallas so she could fly straight shot from Dallas back home in time to start her new job on Monday.
The things we do.
Yeah. And
How did they just cancel her?
I couldn't even, like, it's just the fact that they didn't even email her to say, hey, your flight has been forfeit. She never would have, if she hadn't called to try and reschedule the return flight, she never would have found out until the day of she had shown up for her original flight back, and they would have told her you don't have a ticket, and then she would have been really fucked. So,
Damn.
fuck you, American Airlines. That's fucking terrible.
Damn.
So, yeah, fuck you.
Fly the friendless guy.
And on that friendly note,
Oh my God, it's so late.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry, I didn't mean
this
to
the
bring.
longest
I didn't mean
podcast?
to bring everybody down. No, okay. Thank you guys for listening. 4playernetwork.com is the website, and of course, it's Horror Week. Stick around after the show. We're gonna be playing. What is it called?
Layers of Fear.
Layers of Fear. I had it right. Layers of Fear.
I'll be playing it at least.
Coming
Is it
up
about
next
onions?
on 4pp.tv. And we'll be playing horror games for the rest of the week, so check that out. Lots of Fatal Frame, lots of spooky stuff. Should be fun. And of course, 4playernetwork.com. Keep your eye on the site. We're going to be posting details for the giveaway of the Fallout games that we talked about during the bump spot that Jack is so kindly giving out to community members. So look for that.
yep.
And I guess
go on the forums.
go in
You'll
the
find
forums. Not immediately because we haven't posted it yet, but we will.
But go on them anyway.
Or go in them anyways. So thanks for listening, and of course, thank you guys for being on the show, as always.
Thank
And
you.
we will see you next Tuesday, same time, same place, for another episode.
Same
Good
back
night.
channel.
Oh, thank you, Jack, for being here.
Anytime.
Thanks, Jack.
Anytime.
Thanks, Jack.
You're always welcome. Good night.
Have a good night, everyone.